following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC.
It's the toughest two-week stretch of the NASCAR season. After dealing with Darlington's notorious Lady in Black, NASCAR Nationwide drivers now have to take on the Monster Mile. Dover International Speedway, the Monster Mile, where giant bank turns and narrow straights combined with blazing speeds for a grueling, demanding, and difficult race. It's not easy to master the monster. 43 take the high-speed challenge next.
10, 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, ignition.
ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown, presented by Hellman's, for race 11 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series season, 200 miles at the Dover International Speedway in Dover, Delaware. What began as a horse racing track for trotters grew to include a stock car racing track in the late 60s when this high bank mile oval was built. Now surrounded by 140,000 seats, a hotel and casino, the Monster Mile is certainly a unique venue with one of racing's most unique trophies, a smaller version of the Miles the Monster statue, ready for the winner to take home. Our lead story for the day is Denny Hamlin, the Virginia native, just finishing his practice for tomorrow's Sprint Cup race. Shortly, he'll buckle into his Nationwide Series car, hoping the Monster Mile is as good to him this week as Darlington's Lady in Black was a weekend ago. As some, including us, questioned why a guy then 5 weeks removed from knee surgery would take on an extra race at one of the sport's toughest tracks, Hamlin answered by winning the Nationwide Series race Friday night. A little strategy followed by a little celebration, and then he doubled his pleasure by winning the long, grueling Southern 500 on Saturday night. Hamlin looks to double up again at Dover, Dave Burns. He starts second.
And you know, it's interesting when you talk to those around Denny, especially the team who are dealing with a little bit of the distraction. Kevin Kidd, his crew chief of the Nationwide Series, says about his knee, he doesn't complain, and we don't ask about it. So how much of a non-issue has it become for you, Denny?
I'm about to pull the Jeff Gordon card and say no more questions about the knee. But no, but it's just it's been I mean it's been an issue, but it's been outside of racing. It's not been anything inside the race car. So yeah, the only problem is I can't run from car to car as fast as what I'd like to, but other than that and inside the cars, it's all good.
Both of your teams have been very strong during this run. Can you continue the hot streak today at Dover in the Nationwide Series?
Well, I hope so. Kyle's car was extremely good. For him to run that lap as lazy he did was a show that he's got a really strong car. We'll just try to see if we can't maybe out-strategize those guys and you know, maybe work on our car to get it to where it needs to be.
All right, Alan, remember, he's not complaining, so I'm going to stop asking.
He'd probably like that for us all. Thanks, Dave. The surgery Hamlin underwent on March 31st to repair the ACL in his left knee sure hasn't slowed him down. Since then, he's entered 6 races, won 3 of them, including the Darlington sweep last weekend. I don't think there's any chance Joe Gibbs will kick him in the knee if things slow down to see if it helps. I mentioned the horse racing track at Dover. Its backstretch runs just behind the front stretch and pit road of the stock car oval, a perfect place for our ESPN pit studio because we're always horsing around in here, though a little lower to the ground today for safety reasons because of high winds. Got to keep Brad down out of the big wind, you know. Alan Bestrick, Dale Jarrett, and Big Brad Daugherty, Darlington and Dover back-to-back on the schedule now because of a little calendar shuffle. Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't get any tougher physically and mentally than what you have these 2 weeks. This racetrack here presents a whole different challenge for these guys, Fast and Furious. Sounds like a good movie, doesn't it? But that's what these guys are going to face today. But they got through last week and now have this challenge today.
Yeah, you go back-to-back with arguably the 2 toughest racetracks on our schedule all year long. And I was talking to Casey Kane about this racetrack, and he says, you know, the thing is with these Nationwide cars, you have to drive so hard every lap, and the sensation is unparalleled when you run off in the corner here. It's like somebody jerks a rug out from under your feet. You fall almost 3 stories, and it's just so hard in these cars. You really got to push. But, hey, we're going to see who the toughest of them all is after today.
So of the 25 tracks the Nationwide Series runs on, from a driver's perspective, Where does this one rank? Is this the toughest or one of the toughest? Top 2?
Yeah, I think definitely top 2, and probably a lot of these guys would tell you it's at the top of their list because it's so difficult with the challenge that it presents. As Brad was talking about falling off into the corners, how hard you have to drive, how self-cleaning the racetrack is when things happen. They happen fast, and you don't have much of an opportunity to miss it if it happens right in front of you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Denny Hamlin, sweeping 2 nights of racing at Darlington. Now going to run both races here. He'd probably like a lot of people to stop asking about his knee and stop questioning the wisdom of running both races. But should we?
Well, I think it's all hypothetical. You know, when you come to a place like Dover, the one thing that you're thinking about, just like DJ's talking about, is these self-cleaning, you know, straightaways and backstretch, because they're banked at almost 10 degrees. So when something happens, there's nowhere to go. And we're putting ourselves, and we're looking at Denny, we're putting ourselves in this position saying, if you get into one of these incidents with that knee, you're going to hit your knee on the steering column or somewhere, and it's going to hurt. It's going to be, you know, catastrophic to it. That's what we're talking about. Denny Hamlin, though, he's a bad man because he's saying, hey, as long as I'm in that race car and I'm doing my job, I'm happy. Out of it, yeah, I'm struggling with a knee surgery, but I'm going to do my job no matter what.
Yeah, and our job is to sit and question things
That's
like
right.
this. But I think the one thing is, as hard as this racetrack is on right front tires, but Goodyear has a great tire, but these drivers have to drive these cars hard. Things can happen, and that knee's going to hit something if it should. But Denny Hamlin's
Just like
a racer.
Elliott Sadler.
That's
Elliott
right.
Sadler blew
Twice
2 tires
already
yesterday.
this weekend.
Yeah.
But you know, Denny's a racer. He wants to be here doing what he does best.
Yeah.
Well, if Denny's going to win today, he's going to again have to outrun his Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, the guy that gave him the most trouble at Darlington.
Imagine that.
Kyle Busch. In qualifying 4 hours ago, Kyle ran the fastest lap, topping Hamlin by a little more than 1/10 of a second. His 3rd career pole at Dover, and the 3rd Joe Gibbs Racing 1-2 start of this season. Kyle Busch with Vince Welch.
Alan, he certainly has been a dominant driver on the concrete. This is his 6th pole on the concrete surface, and chassis 1861. How about you've taken it to victory lane, or it's taken you to victory lane 5 of the last 7 times you've driven it. Can you really tell a difference with a particular chassis?
Sometimes yeah, sometimes no. I mean, my late models, I tend to feel something different between some of them, but you know, the way these guys build these things, they're so precise and so minute that there's not a whole lot of difference between them. So guys have done a really nice job, though. This Combo's Camry's fast. You know, we just need to make sure that we do what we need to do to stay up front and try to stay out of trouble much of the day and be there at the end.
The tire in the Nationwide car is exactly the same tires you ran last night on the truck. You had a good truck last night set on the pole there. Anything translate? Does that help you today in the Nationwide car?
I don't know. I mean, I feel I've been really good here in all 3 cars this weekend. I feel like we've got a shot for all 3 of them. Last night we should have, could have, would have, but unfortunately didn't. So today I don't see why we couldn't win with the Combos car, and then of course tomorrow with the M&M's Camry is pretty good too. So we've got it all going. You know, it's just about trying to bide your time and run a good race, stay out of trouble, keep it clean.
Alan, he's led the most laps here at Dover in the Nationwide Series. The last 3 times they've raced here, certainly one of those to beat here again today.
All right, Vince, thanks very much. Still to come on NASCAR Countdown, Colin Brown, the rookie driver, pulled out of his Roush Fenway racing ride the last 2 weeks and asked to watch and learn from Matt Kenseth. We listened in. And more on the Monster Mile and what makes this track so tough and yet so fun for the drivers.
Dover's called the Monster Mile because there's a big monster out front. It's a monster. I mean, it's crazy. It's just like Bristol, except it's a mile. It's in your face, and it just tears up cars. When there's a 1-car wreck, it quickly turns into a 5, 10, 15-car wreck.
It's like riding a roller coaster. You know, you drive off down in the corner, a lot of throttle, jump off into the corner, and you hit the banking, and it catches you, and you go on and do it again.
It's a fast joint. They say it's like 2 stories or something when you drop off into the corners.
It's a really, really enjoyable race.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC. Brought to you by the mayonnaise that's real and delicious, Hellman's.
Team owner Jack Roush entered 2 young rookies in the full Nationwide Series this year, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Colin Brown, in an effort to continue their development into hopefully stars of the future. Hasn't been easy. After 5 crashes in the year's opening 8 races, Brown, a 21-year-old Texan, was taken out of the 16 car for 2 weeks and asked to shadow former champion Matt Kenseth as he drove the races at Richmond and Darlington. We watched and listened in last weekend as Brown went to school for his return to the seat at Dover today.
Well, for me, just pretty much watching what Matt's going to be doing, you know, trying to be involved with the team. I feel like I can learn a lot from him, you know, learn a lot from my crew chief, Eddie Pardue, and just trying to gain as much information and knowledge as I can to help me down the road. I get a chance to listen on the radio to what Matt's saying about the car.
Probably a little looser, like an active stuff. It also had a nose chatter at the same time. I just couldn't feel it at all.
Trying to get a better understanding of how Matt kind of approaches the weekend and you know, how he works through practice, what different changes he makes, you know, and trying to get an idea of if he says the car's loose, how loose is that compared to when I say the car's loose. Just try to just learn everything I can.
Most of the things you do in this business, you kind of, you know, learn from mistakes you make.
I'm going to have learned a lot from Matt, you know, learned how he works with everybody on this team, and I feel like that's going to make me a better race car driver. It's interesting for me to be able to talk to you know, a champion like Matt and be able to ask him, hey, how do you want your car to be driving?
You turn the steering wheel a lot, get in the corner, does the car just kind of turn itself down in the corner? Okay.
There's a lot of information that you can soak up.
I don't know, nothing really too earth-shattering, I guess. Just basic stuff. He's asked me about the car today and you know, maybe how I drive it in different places or how it feels when we adjust it, just things like that. So pretty much just general racing stuff.
There's no stupid questions, you know. You just gotta work harder. The guy who works harder is gonna be better than the rest. So that's what we're trying to do.
I feel like it's just a deal where, you know, you've got to make the best of the situation. Obviously, it's not the situation I wanted to be in, but I feel like, you know, there's a lot of positives in it, and I feel like it's going to make me a better race car driver when I get to the other side of this deal.
Well, Colin Brown's first Nationwide Series race was at Memphis in October 2007 at the tender age of 18. Wow. He finished 30th that day. He made 5 Nationwide Series starts in 2008, started on the pole in 2 of those 5, and got a second place finish on the Raceway Park short track in Indy. In the Camping World Truck Series, Brown was Rookie of the Year in 2008 and scored a win on the big 2-mile Michigan track in 2009. But all that momentum hasn't continued this year, with 5 did not finish results in 8 tries coming into today. Being out of the car the last 2 weeks, DJ, could anything be more gut-wrenching on a driver?
No, there's nothing that hits a driver and your ego, and of course he's a young man, maybe not have a big ego yet, but that really rips you as a driver to be taken out and being on the sidelines, watching the car you're supposed to be driving out there on the racetrack. But hopefully he can turn this into a positive situation for himself. These young drivers are under such tremendous pressure to perform at a young age and try to live up to some of these other guys, things that they did, and going through that Roush organization. So he has a lot of talent, and I think that's what Jack Roush and MC, and they'll continue to let him try to prove those talents.
Yeah, like live up to like his teammate Carl Edwards there on the right. You heard what Brown said. On a practical level, Brad, what can he take from watching and listening to Matt Kenseth the last couple weeks?
Yeah, a great point by DJ, too, about his ego. I mean, this young man is just, he's selfless. He doesn't really have much of an ego at all, and he spent the last 2 weeks, I sat and talked with Colin, and he spent the last 2 weeks just watching Matt, and he gave me an interesting piece of information that he gleaned from Matt Kenseth. He said the thing that Matt does so well is, especially in traffic, once he gets to another race car, he just goes on by. He said, Mr. Daugherty, which really made me feel very old, he said, when I get to a car, I'm thinking about how I'm going to pass, how I'm not going to get into an incident or an accident, how I'm not going to tear up the race car, and usually by the time I get through processing all that, I'm in something. So he says, I've got to get to cars and I've got to dispose of them just like Matt does. React instead of overthinking. Paralysis by analysis. And I think he's right. And he's going to be a heck of a young race car driver if he can just get the experience he needs.
Yeah, I think that's one thing is sometimes these young guys overthink all of this instead of just doing the job. What got them noticed by Jack Roush and his organization is their ability to drive a race car. And sometimes you try to analyze things a little bit too much. So just go do your job. That's easy to sit here and say, but that's basically what you have to do.
Yeah.
I know sponsorship's difficult to obtain for anyone, let alone a couple of young drivers, but these guys are following a well-worn path. Denny Hamlin, not that many years ago, was a Virginia short tracker, right? Now he's contending for a Sprint Cup championship, and he's knocking off these race wins with pretty regular frequency. Brad Keselowski, just a couple of years ago, was a struggling Michigan short track racer. Now he's got a Sprint Cup ride with Roger Penske, and he's leading the Nationwide Series championship. What is a team owner like Jack Roush looking for from these two young guys, Stenhouse and Brown, to decide if they're the real deal or not?
Well, I talked to Jack, and Jack told me, he says, listen, he says, Colin Brown is good. He's okay. No, don't take me wrong. But he needs to be more patient, and the bottom line is he's got to quit wrecking race cars. You have to get finishes. You have to be there throughout different parts of the race to experience what you need to do to be a champion. But Jack says, hey, he is okay. He's not in any kind of trouble. He just needs to finish.
Yeah. Yeah, high expectations, though. This is a difficult time to come into this business as a young driver trying to make your mark, because you realize there's a lot more in line trying to take your job. So relax, do your job. He has a tremendous talent, and I hope these young guys get it figured out and can do their job.
If you want to show somebody you're the real deal, running up front with some of the established names is a good way to do it, right? Well, it's been a little tough for some of these young guys to do so far this year. That average running position uses NASCAR scoring loops to determine where a guy's running on every lap of the race, divided by the number of laps in the race. The big guys are doing all the running up front.
I promise you, it's a lot easier to race up front than it is back there where other guys are struggling with their cars. That's why you find yourself getting in accidents more.
Yeah, we do hear that a lot. Guys are racing so hard back there, but look, if you look at the numbers, you got to be up front.
Well, both Brown and Stenhouse have a chance to run with the leaders today. Brown qualified 16th, while Stenhouse qualified 6th. Nice job there. Our J-Ski news and notes now. A post-Darlington penalty for crew chief Stuart Cooper on Casey Kane's 38 car. Left front shock didn't meet specs. $10,000 fine, 25 driver and owner points docked. Rookie driver James Buescher and Phoenix Racing have parted ways. Buescher's going to run the Truck Series full-time. Owner James Finch says he's going to continue fielding that one car in the Nationwide Series. Ryan Newman is aboard today. And we wish a speedy recovery and return to the track to former series champ Brian Vickers, shown here winning at Dover in his championship season of 2003. Brian was hospitalized in Washington, D.C., suffering from blood clots in his veins. He was released from that hospital on Friday night and returned home to North Carolina, where he'll meet with a group of specialists to determine what's next. And finally, the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte opened this week to glowing reviews. Rusty, DJ, and Brad on hand. What'd you think?
Oh, beautiful place, great place. And if you're a race fan or not a race fan and you want to learn about our sport, that's the place to be.
The historical information gathered in that place is just unparalleled. It's awesome. You'll spend a week walking around in there looking at some of the neat artifacts in that building. It's just incredible.
And finally, what'd you think of that Celtics-Cavs ending?
I didn't think much of it. But it's over with and done, and the Celtics move on. They played a great series.
They do. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The NBA on ABC. GMC Sierra NBA Countdown kicks it off at 3 Eastern Time on Sunday. Celtics and Magic. Game 1. That is at 3 Eastern, ABC tomorrow. Coming up, Brad Keselowski, the Nationwide Series Championship leader. Looking for more today in Dover. He starts 3rd. We'll hear from him. And Jason Keller about to chalk up a tremendous milestone in his career. That and more when NASCAR Countdown, presented by Hellman's, returns to Delaware.
Welcome to Dover!
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC. Brought to you by the mayonnaise that's real and delicious. Hellman's.
This Monster Mile is one of 3 concrete surfaced racetracks on the circuit. In the last 10 races on the concrete in the Nationwide Series, Brad Keselowski has earned the most points. In fact, 3 of his 8 career wins have come on the concrete surface tracks. Concrete Kezi just doesn't have the ring that Concrete Carl did, but Brad starts inside of row 2, Jamie.
Concrete Kezi. I know you'd get a laugh out of that. Now, you won the race last year by only leading 2 laps, but this time around, you told me the car's been this weekend. What's it been missing?
You know, just the Gibbs cars have so much speed. You know, it's we could be a little better pretty much everywhere, but we've got what I feel like is a strong enough car to be in position, and hopefully, again, we can force a mistake at the end. That seems to be what we excel at, and very happy with our Ruby Tuesday Dodge Charger. Other than that, we'll just keep working on it, and maybe we'll find some speed as the weekend goes along.
Concrete Kezi, 7th or better the last 5 races here at Dover. Dave?
With Jason Keller now, who will make his 500th start in the Nationwide Series, and that wasn't a sure thing until just a couple of hours ago when he qualified his car in. So how nerve-wracking was that, all the premature talk before he'd even gotten in the show?
Well, you just never know. I felt like we had a good enough car, and yesterday's speed showed that. But, you know, if one thing the sports taught me, you never take anything for granted. And you just, I have to say that there's been a couple of sleepless nights, but just really glad that hopefully the start's over with. Now we can focus on a good finish. We've got to continue to work on getting our car better so we can get up to the top 30 in points. But just want to thank everyone that's been a part of those 500 starts. You know, my dad, Greg Pollux. There's so many key people that wouldn't have any starts without them. And my beautiful wife, Deborah, who's here, my family, Joe and Jay. There's just so many people that you can't do it alone, you know. So I've been very blessed. Good Lord's blessed me with a lot of starts and hopefully a lot more.
At the drivers' meeting today, Mike Helton presented you with a special plaque that's behind us here. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, I mean, you know, sometimes you get into the monotony of the series and sport, and you know, you just don't know how much you're appreciated. But when Mike Helton comes up to you and all the officials, and I just had a group picture with a lot of people that I've worked with in the past, and to see those collectively come together, just it's just special. You know, now I got a job to do. I got 200 tough laps here at the Monster Mile. We can't look past that, but going to enjoy it for a little while, and just we'll reminisce tonight on the way home. But just very proud and very blessed to be able to have done what I've done.
Congratulations, Jason. Alan, one of the good guys in the sport and a 10-time winner in this series.
Absolutely one of the good guys. Thank you, David. Jason Keller in making that 500th start today. Now, this Monster Mile is the toughest track on the circuit on tires. Tim Brewer in our Craftsman Tech Garage has a look at a small detail that could make a big difference during this day. Tim?
Thanks, Alan. You know, most of the time we talk about a brand new sticker tire or a scuff tire. A scuff tire's been on the race car, got a few laps on it just to give her camber profiles. But here we had an opportunity to take the sticker tires, go out and run about 3 laps on 2 or 3 sets of tires. That gave us another option to categorize the tires as driver preference. Which one was the best tire? Which one ran the fastest? Which one turned better in the center? Which one tightened the car up? Driver input. That's what we're looking for to save our best set of scuffs for the opportunity when the pay window opens. We're going to have our best set of tires on the car. Alan?
Hey, you want to be the first in line at that pay window.
Yes,
thank you, Tim, very much. Time for what to watch for. We'll start with tires. This being the toughest track on the circuit, we'll watch out for some right fronts today. The other thing is sticking the landing. That big drop down into the corners and then the run uphill out of the corners onto the straightaways.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of different descriptions, but you literally do. The racetrack falls out from underneath your race car going into turn 1 and turn 3, and you better have your car not hitting the concrete there and able to have your tires pointed in the right direction when it does land there. You can create a lot of problems if you don't, Brad.
So difficult. I mean, I equate it to taking a shovel full of dirt and throwing it out, turning it over as you go off in these corners because it's such a big transition. The tires, like you say, is such a huge issue because of the degree of banking on the straightaways. You always got a little bit of a right front load. You go into that corner, there's a ton of load. It unloads as it drops, and all of a sudden it picks back up. Tires get abused here, especially that right front, and you don't want that bead to break.
And a lot of those crashes we just saw, just like DJ was talking about, when that car bottoms out coming into the corners, those tires aren't on the racetrack anymore, and that's trouble. Now, if someone does have a problem coming up off the corner, they're not going to hit something just once. They're probably going to hit it at least twice, and it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt either place, you see. Here, Scott Lagacy last year just turned into the outside wall. Hit the inside. Not finished.
3.
Oh,
man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's this racetrack. You heard us talk about self-cleaning. It just collects people as things start to happen, especially when you're in a pack of cars. A single car wreck at other places turns into a 10, 12 car accident here.
Pit road, you see there at Dover, it's not terribly wide. It's wider by 4 feet than it used to be, but we've seen a lot of guys wrinkle up some right front fenders on pit road too.
Very narrow pit road. They have widened it by about 3 feet, still very narrow. And the interesting thing is both of our guys, Andy and Tim Brewer, crew chiefs, have been run over on this pit road.
While they've been tire changers.
Tire changers, yep.
It explains a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
All right, time for sending you from here to there. Don't get run over crossing pit road.
No, I'm glad I've only got this banking to go across, but we'll get there.
All right. The race coming up as we get set to go 200 miles on the Monster Mile. NASCAR Countdown presented by Hellman's returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. The Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway. High banks, high speeds, and a very high degree of difficulty. Into that punishing arena stepped 43 drivers of the NASCAR Nationwide Series, ready to go 200 miles in search of a monster trophy. Well, Kevin Harvick is one of those in the field today. Harv's never won here at Dover. Starts 10th. We'll keep an eye on the 33. Jamie McMurray from deep in the field will watch him as well. Let's go trackside.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise? Joining me here on stage, presenting today's colors, are the Dover Air Force Base Honor Guard. And here for your invocation is Dover Air Force Base Chaplain, Captain Dennis Gue.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, dear God, we thank you for this special occasion and the gathering of your people. Today, we have come to celebrate this classic moment in the history of our great nation. We thank you for the state of Delaware, for the city of Dover, and the administration for their dedicated service toward mankind. We pray for the talented men and women of NASCAR, and we pray for all of the participants that you will keep everyone from accident or injury. In your holy name we pray, amen.
Amen. To sing our national anthem today, I present to you Nashville recording artist J.C. Anderson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free in the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, J.C. Anderson, if you'll turn your attention to the south end of the Speedway, the C-17 Globemaster III transport aircraft from the 3rd Airlift Squadron and the 436 Airlift Wing at Dover Air Force Base.
Huge military presence with Dover Air Force Base just up the street. A lot of drivers making an appearance there last night. Time to buckle in and start them up here on the Monster Mile and see who's going to win. The NASCAR Nationwide Series ready to go racing at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware for the 53rd time, and certainly beautiful conditions for it after some thunderstorms came through the area last night. A very pleasant 73 degrees, though somewhat breezy, and a very minuscule 10% chance of a shower. The DJ has made his way upstairs to join Andy Petrie and Marty Reed for the call of today's race. And Marty, let's talk here about whether the afternoon today is going to be about surprises or domination.
Well, we've seen a little bit of both in the past, Alan. Just yesterday in the truck race, Kyle Busch leads 172 laps, but his issue was a fuel issue. Usually, Andy, it's tires.
Yeah, I never come to Dover that I'm not worried to death about that right front tire. This racetrack is so hard on the right front tire because of the corners and how much time you spend in those corners that it's usually a tire that can take you out of a contention to win. We see right here a right front tire goes down late on Kyle Busch, and he gets past and loses this race right here. And, you know, I'll be watching for that today to see if there's any tire issues as this race unfolds.
Yeah, and as a driver, it's not just necessarily that tire going flat or something. You have to take care of the tire to make sure that when it gets time to race, that you have enough grip and rubber left on that tire that you can keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack, because that's probably where the race is going to be won. So if you abuse that tire, get it to growing too much and wearing out, then you're not going to have anything to race with.
Let's talk about a trend. The last 7 spring races have had 7 different winners. Here's the list. Now, it starts with Joe Nemechek all the way through to Brad Keselowski. I want the two of you to give me guys that are not on that list that could make it 8 different winners.
Well, I'm sure glad I get to go first because I'm picking Kyle Busch, the pole sitter. I didn't see his name on there.
Yeah, I knew I should have got up here sooner. I get left out of it. But I'm going to take a guy starting in 12th. We talked with Clint Boyer yesterday during practice. He was very happy with his race car. He loves this racetrack. I think he could be a factor and go to victory lane here today.
We've got just enough time. How about one more shout out before we go green? Jason Keller, big milestone, 500th career start.
You know, not only a quality driver, but a quality person, and that's the kind of things that you like to see from someone like Jason. Hopefully he has a lot of success that will attract a sponsor for that car.
Yeah, and I don't expect this to be the end of the road for him. This is just a new beginning, 500 and counting.
Well, and there's one other statistic we want to throw out to you before we go trackside. Take a look at the qualifying speeds. The top 2 in Nationwide here today were actually faster than tomorrow's pole speed in the Sprint Cup race. I don't know what that leads for, but it's going to be a fast track. Let's go trackside to get it started.
Here to give today's command is Jeff Martin, Executive Vice President of Merchandising and Marketing for Ahold USA.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the over 106,000 associates of Giant, Martin's, and Stop and Shop, gentlemen, start your engines.
So the engines are fired on the 43 cars, and Jamie McMurray is going to be our in-race reporter. He's got a tough row to hoe. He's going to start 25th, and we'll talk to him when we come back.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC. Brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Call or visit us online for a quote today.
Here at the Monster Mile, let's show you the starting field. Remember that 7 of our first 10 races have been won from the top 4 starting positions. The other 3 winners from outside the top 20. 2 cars failed to qualify, Brian Keselowski and Danny O'Quinn, but Keselowski has now jumped into the 92, replacing Dennis Setzer, so he'll be in that car at the rear. Also to the rear, Kenny Wallace, David Gilliland, and Johnny Chapman. Let's talk to our in-race reporter, DJ.
Hey, Jamie, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You have a copy?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Hey, Jamie, you know we search far and wide for these ESPN mailbag questions, and this one comes from down under. William in Adelaide, Australia asked, as a double-duty driver this weekend, how do you divide your week in preparation for both series?
I mean, actually, I really enjoy getting to run both cars. This is a really fun track, and you know, everyone always asks you about training and everything, and there's just nothing better than actually being in the car and putting your body through the heat and you know, the loads that you take. So getting to run both of them, I think, is actually a benefit.
Speaking of your car, we saw a lot of changes being made on that 88 car yesterday. Have you got it where you want, or is this still a work in progress?
Well, we're still working on it. We didn't qualify where we thought we needed to, and they've changed quite a few things, you know, with what we were able to change between qualifying and practice, or in the race. So yeah, we got to get a little bit better, but we've had really good runs in this car, and we've got a great pit crew, and they do a really good job calling the races. So we'll just not give up and fight hard all day, and hopefully we'll be there at the end.
All right, Jamie, have a great day. Thanks for talking with us. Now Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Tony Uri Sr.
Hey, Tony, Andy Petrie in the booth. You got us?
4.
Tony, you've won this race, this spring race at Dover, 3 times as a crew chief, and your car's not as good as you hoped it would be early this weekend, but I know it'll be in the top 5 before the day's over. How are you going to do it?
Well, it's going to be a little harder than we anticipated for sure. We expected to qualify a little better, but you know, we always work on our cars to make them run on the long run, and you know, hopefully that's what we got. We made a few adjustments here after qualifying, and hopefully the car will be a lot better when we get started. We just get a little track position here. I think we'll be okay.
Okay, Tony, thanks for putting up with us this weekend, and good luck, buddy.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's check our other onboards. You already know about Jamie McMurray being the in-race reporter. How about Ricky Stenhouse? And then you've also got Landon Castle, Justin Allgaier, Casey Kane, Carl Edwards, Stephen Wallace, and Mike Wallace. Our over-the-wall reporter is the front tire changer on the 66 is Stephen Wallace. Mark Hollywood Armstrong. Hollywood, this is the toughest pit road. What's the biggest challenges facing you crews?
Well, Marty, each and every week pit crews are faced different challenges. One of the biggest challenges here at Dover is a very tight pit road, which makes for a very tight pit stop. It might not be the quick pit stop today that could win you the race, but the one that is mistake-free. And the team that can do that with a very fast race car could wind up right here where I'm standing in victory lane. Guys?
All right, thanks a lot, Hollywood. Good luck to you and everybody. Let's get a quick update from pit road. Vince?
After opening the season with 5 straight top 10s, Justin Allgaier has gone 5 straight races without a top 10. Does that change today? Well, crew chief Chad Walter admits this is not his best track, nor is it Justin's best. Throw in the fact he starts 27th today and it doesn't look good. But keep in mind, in March, when Justin won on the concrete at Bristol, he started 30th. Dave Burns?
Vince, since taking over the 21 ride at Phoenix earlier this year, Clint Boyer's best finish has been 6th. But yesterday after practice, he told me this is the best car I've had yet. Maybe they can get the W today. Jamie?
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., one of 5 rookies in the field today, but the only driver who has never been here in another series. He got up to speed quickly yesterday, qualified 6th this morning. Now his focus is set on getting as many points as possible and turning every lap. Marty?
All right, thank you, Jamie. And want to remind you, this broadcast is available in Spanish. All you have to do is activate your SAP button presented by ESPN Deportes. Pace car is in between turns 3 and 4. 15 double duty drivers of the 43 in this field, led by the 2 from Joe Gibbs Racing. They were on point last week. They finished 1-2. They start this week 1-2. Kyle Busch in the 18, Denny Hamlin right alongside. And as they come down, the 11th race of the 2010 NASCAR Nationwide season at Dover is green. Going side by side down into turn 3. It's Hamlin on the high side. Keselowski in third, and the 3 of them are trying to open up the ground early. Coming through for lap number 1, and Hamlin's going to lead.
I don't know that we expected to see that outside guy take the lead on this first lap, Andy.
I did not see that coming at all, but Denny Hamlin had it in his mind. That's what he was going to do, and he pulled it off.
You see Kyle Busch a little bit loose coming out of turn 2 there. Now we'll watch and see as these guys get some laps on their tires if this means that Denny's car's a little bit tight right now that enabled him to do that, and Kyle's is freer, and that will change in a longer run.
Got a gaggle of cars back in turn 4. We almost had a big wreck. You can see the damage already on the 7 of Landon Castle. Sort of everybody checked up.
Yeah, I don't know what caused that stack up, but definitely Landon Castle got damage on that left front fender from it.
Everybody's still on.
You see the right rear corner of the 09 car. He has, it looks like the bumper all torn up on him.
Already got our first start in park as the 91 of David Gilliland has taken it behind the wall.
Racing in tight situations like this racetrack makes it very difficult, especially when you're 2 or 3 cars back, because they start stacking up and you just can't see that.
Looked like Chad McCumbee was struggling a little bit getting off that corner, and man, what a big stack up right here.
Yeah, used up the front end of that 7 car a lot. And you need a lot of aero here because the speeds are over 170 miles an hour on the straightaway.
Jason Keller in the 35 leading that pack of cars. He's got Stephen Wallace right behind him. There's Castle alongside of McCumbee again, as they can't seem to shake each other. And behind them, you see the 34 of Tony Raines, and also the 99 of Trevor Bayne.
And we saw a lot of loose race cars in qualifying this morning, and this racetrack is very dark now because we had 2 cup practices, but I think that these guys are really struggling with the handling right now, a lot of them being extremely loose.
Justin Allgaier taking a look underneath the 09 as well. And Bayne has gotten to the low side, and he's going to try and follow. And here comes Jamie McMurray right behind Bayne.
Yeah, Dale, you're talking about a lot of loose cars, but that's really the way you have to start your car out at Dover if you plan on being good in the long run. You can't be tight early if you want your car to be fast after you've run about 40 or 50 laps.
Yeah, that goes back to what you were talking about, taking care of that right front tire, and that's what you have to do, is not abusing that tire early on. If you do, then you're going to be in trouble later.
Clint Boyer, it was your pick. He gets around Kevin Harvick as he picks up another spot and put Boyer now up to the 7th position.
Yeah, we really heard Clint Boyer yesterday say that he thought his car was good. He was one of the few drivers that really made an extended run yesterday, so he was pretty happy with what he saw with that race car.
He's really good at this racetrack too, and so I think after they've had a few races now to kind of all get back together, that this might be a good place for him to get a win.
92 is our second start in park. Brian Keselowski has taken it to the garage area. There goes Justin Allgaier. Here comes Trevor Bayne as we check back in on this battle further back. That is for 20th position on the racetrack.
Yeah, Landon Castle's car in that 7, he's really struggling with that damage on the left front. I expect him to lose a few more spots. You see Jamie McMurray now taking advantage of him.
So McMurray, who started 25th, now move him up to 22nd.
The majority of the passing that we've seen so far has been on the bottom side of the racetrack. We heard Casey Kane tell us in the qualifying show this morning that he thought that this racetrack might get wider to where you might start making some passes on the outside.
Let's get an update on the damage on the number 7, Vince.
Well, this track is so aero sensitive with your cars, and when you damage that front end especially, you're going to feel it. And Landon Castle says it is so tight. He said he feels like maybe they started out a hair tight to begin with, but now with this damage, it is unbelievably tight. Says it's hard to drive, it's so tight. Not going to be good here under the green conditions.
Well, that 7 car was only 56 points ahead of 31st place in the owner points as we check back in to the race leaders. And you see Denny Hamlin, who took the lead on the first lap. He's led all 11.
Yeah, looks like Kyle's starting to just inch back up on that rear bumper, though. And I don't think Kyle's going to be satisfied to run second behind Denny.
Never has been.
Takes a look on the inside. There was some lap traffic, and here he is, got the low line now, and Denny is pushing up the track. Says, okay, I'll fall in line.
For now.
For now.
Like Brad Keselowski, they're stalking these two in that 22 car.
Lap 12, now 13 of 200. Keselowski's car is also tracking up the hill a little.
Yeah, I'm not sure that he's not trying that line out to see if he might be able to save that right front tire a little bit and also get a good run off the corner, seeing if this would be something that he could utilize to make some passes.
Well, right now, those three have checked out on 4th place by a full second. Let's get more on the 22. Dave Burns.
Well, 2 comments over the radio from Brad Keselowski as now they go underneath some lap traffic there. Very, very tight, the race car for Brad. And also at the beginning of the race, a lot of rubber picked up from their predecessors on the track. You talk about the groove widening out, but there was also a lot of rubber that they picked up, and a couple of cars complaining they might be tight. It might be because all that rubber on the tires.
All right, Dave, thanks for the update. It's Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, followed by Carl Edwards and Casey Kane, but they are a full second behind the top 3. We'll be right back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back to the NASCAR Nationwide Series race here at Dover. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Information we can give you right now is Kyle Busch has just put Landon Castle a lap down. He is running in 28th. That gives you an idea how fast he is going. He's pulled a 1.6 second lead over Denny Hamlin. Clint Boyer is also on the move. He's now up to 5th, although 4.5 seconds back, but definitely has a good race car underneath him.
Passing some good race cars too. He's passed Carl Edwards right there, and then Kevin Harvick, or actually Greg Biffle a few laps before that, so he's on the move.
Dover is the only track that Clint Boyer has won on more than once. He has 2 wins here in the Nationwide Series. Paul Menard with Colin Brown in tow as those two are trying to cut their way forward. They're running 15th and 16th. Let's also update you that Kevin Hamlin has taken the 52 behind the wall, so we have our 3rd starting part. And now only 26 cars on the lead lap as Kyle Busch is just knocking them down, guys.
Yeah, and it happens in a hurry, too. You get somebody like Kyle Busch out here, can put a lot of cars down quickly, especially as these other guys struggle here in the first part of the race.
His lead is 2 seconds over Denny Hamlin. That's Joe Nemechek that he is going by right now. There is 2nd place, and that's the best battle we've got in the top 5, actually, because it's Denny Hamlin by 0.2 of a second over Brad Keselowski, and that's what 0.2 looks like on your television screen.
Yeah, Brad was able to catch him, and you can see Brad there once again experimenting a little bit with that higher line to see if he might make that work enough to get him a run off the corner to get up beside of the 20.
And behind these two is Casey Kane in the Great Clips Toyota in the 38. You can see how far back he is. He's got some lap traffic that he's got to negotiate as we go on board, going around Morgan Shepherd.
Here again, he's going to come up on the 7 car, who has all that damage on the front, and that's probably making his car tremendously tight at this point in time. Casey was pretty optimistic about his chances here today. He might have to work on a little bit of speed here, but looks like this car's handling pretty well.
Well, he sounded pretty confident. We talked to him during the qualifying show, and sounded pretty good. I mean, sounded like he felt confident he was going to have a good run.
56 of Kevin LePage is behind the wall, and so is the 90 of Chase Miller. So now 5 cars off the track. Now there is the damage again on the 7 car Landon Castle, and it's creating a big issue for him. Let's check in at the Craftsman Tech Garage with Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Marty. These cars are really aero sensitive. Anything around the front of the car as well as the nose creates a problem when you alleviate downforce. You want all that metal pushing down on the front of the car. But what's going to happen? Dale Jarrett knows when you drive off in the corner, this tire literally slides. When you've got grip, you don't have a lot of heat. But when you slide the tire across the pavement, you wear the tire out, creating a cord atmosphere, or the car just doesn't turn, and you blow that right front tire, like Dale Jarrett said, you can hit that wall really hard.
All right, thanks, Tim. And you can see from on board Landon Castle, he has got his hands full as he started 13th but has been sliding back ever since. Here is the battle for 13th. The 10 of Jason Leffler getting underneath Ricky Stenhouse, and he takes the position, and Paul Menard is right behind.
Yeah, Jason Leffler doing another nice job after the good run he had last week, a top 5 finish at Darlington.
I can also tell you that Johnny Chapman is taking the 73 behind the wall to the garage area. There goes Menard around Stenhouse. So Stenhouse, who had a great qualifying run, is sliding backwards right now. Move him back to 15th. Going for 10th place, Brendan Gaughan, Reed Sorensen. Of course, that 32 car driven a lot this year by Brian Vickers, and you heard in Countdown, Brian has been released from the hospital in Washington. He's on his way, or is back in Charlotte, and will be having further evaluation, and we wish him a speedy recovery from his blood clot situation. While all that's going on, they're going around the 81 of Michael McDowell. He's a lap down in 31st. While all this is going on, let's check back up to the leader. It is Kyle Busch. He has now led 21 of the 32 laps. Denny Hamlin has led the other 11. And it is all Joe Gibbs Racing out front right now.
Back at Dover International Speedway, the leaders are on pit road. Third place, Brad Keselowski. His car was very, very tight. You see him at the top of the screen there. They talked about air pressure adjustment, but wave that off. Track bar and wedge only. Denny Hamlin's car was very, very loose. He said the rear end of the car feels very, very rigid. They'll make a chassis and air pressure adjustment for Hamlin. Jamie?
And Kyle Busch, the bottom of your screen, started out a little loose, now got tight through the center, said he needed a little bit of help. 4 tires, fill it up with Sunoco fuel, very minimal changes. Let's see if he gets down and away. It looks like the 22 beats him to the line, guys.
The race off pit road from Nationwide Insurance, and Brad Keselowski taking 2 tires, pays big dividends early as he picks up 2 spots. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin come out second, and third. Carl Edwards also picks up some ground as he is now shown 4th, coming out off of the race of pit road. The big loser, Casey Kane. Now the reason we are under this first caution is a spin involving Michael Annett, and somehow miraculously he did not hit anything, and he got a little help here, guys.
You can see they're coming off of turn 2 right now. Denny Hamlin gets to run up off the corner. Just gets into the left rear.
Doesn't hit anything, though. Hard to do at Dover.
But amazingly, he does not hit a single thing, so he was able to continue in the race. So right now it is still Kyle Busch, your race leader. As we went to break, we'll tell all about it. Back here at the Heluva Good 200 at Dover International Speedway, and the lucky dog is going to go to a very lucky man today. Jason Keller, his 500th start, puts him back on the lead lap. He'll be shown in 21st position. And Brad Keselowski came out of pit road leading this race now, as it was Kyle Busch having the lead. And as we take a look at the motorsports calendar, let's talk about the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Southern Nationals, 8 o'clock Eastern tonight, and then final 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. Both of those on ESPN2. NASCAR Now tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then our next race, a couple of weeks from now, NASCAR Nationwide Series at Charlotte, 2 o'clock Eastern on ABC, May 29th. And then the following day, the Indianapolis 500 telecast presented by GoDaddy.com, noon on Sunday, May 30th on ABC. All right, let's go on board with Justin Allgaier because he missed his pit spot. We talked about how this is a difficult pit road, Andy.
Yeah, you see how congested it is, and it gets a little more congested for Justin Allgaier. Gets right here, and he can't get in the stall, so he's just going to have to back up.
We're not going to kill ourselves here. We only got a few
Going to lose quite a few spots, but like I said, it's not going to kill them. Just get in here, make their tire change, and come back out. It'll be toward the end of the lead lap cars, though.
There'll be 2 waiver rounds, Morgan Shepherd and Eric McClure. And we can also tell you that Kevin LePage has come back out in the 56, although he is now 11 laps down. Let's reset it for you. Brad Keselowski has selected the high side with Kyle Busch right beside him. Then Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, Kevin Harvick. We're green. Denny took a peek inside, thought better of it.
Yeah, you can see Kyle just really gets a good run through the corner here. The 22 car Brad Keselowski, the only car of the leaders that took 2 tires.
Yeah, I'll question that right now. He may prove us totally wrong, but the choice of the outside lane was a question too, I think. But I think that just because Denny Hamlin's car was so good was the only reason he beat that on the start of the race.
Well, he's already been shuffled back to third, and you've got the 27 of Greg Biffle breathing down his neck right now with Casey Kane right behind him in the 38.
I know they got a great tire that Goodyear's brought here, Andy, but this has never really been a place that 2 tires has been something you would do a lot of.
No, but if you're going to do it early, find out if it works or not, and then you'll know what to do or not to do at the end of the race.
Clint Boyer takes over 6th place from Carl Edwards. Boyer's got himself a good-looking race car right now, DJ.
Boy, it really is a good car. He was concerned a little bit yesterday. Did they have the speed? You can see he's a little bit loose right there. They're really doing a nice job of driving this car up through the pack.
Drop a little bit further back. The battle for 11th. Brendan Gaughan has it. Paul Menard wants it. Menard's looking underneath. And it looks like Gaughan's going to ride up just far enough. And here comes the 98. Can he take the spot?
They kind of gave enough room there. And you have to be careful as that driver on the inside. Down at the bottom of turn 3 on the entrance, if you get in there too low, it's really rough. And that'll cause your car to bottom out and shoot you up into that outside car.
Well, Menard clears him and now takes over that spot with now Brian Scott right behind the 62. A little bit further back, there's Jason Leffler in the 10, and then the 66, Stephen Wallace and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. That's all the way back to the 16th spot with Stenhouse.
And right behind him, you'll see the 88 car of Jamie McMurray, our in-race reporter, steadily moving his way up.
He's picked up 8 spots. You also saw behind McMurray, Trevor Bain, and Justin Allgaier in 19th. And let's get more on Allgaier, Vince.
Well, we told you in the open today that this was not Allgaier's best track, nor the best track for crew chief Chad Walter, but they just made a mistake coming into the pit box. These are very tight pit boxes, pit stalls, and they knew that was going to be a little bit of an issue coming in because of Allgaier's lack of experience. That's still an area he struggles. But they were telling him 3 boxes away, and he drove right by it. He said, I didn't see it. Crew chief Chad Walter said, I told you 3 away. So a little bit of driver, crew chief going at each other, trying to get this thing straight.
Well, he was 18th when he came in. He came back out in 20th, and he's trying to fight his way back. He's up to 19th. There's a neat battle going on for 2nd spot, Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski. So now Keselowski's car is coming back to life.
Yeah, I think he's trying to prove Dale wrong on those 2 tires. Look pretty good right there.
I can guarantee you there's a lot of people that would like for him to prove me wrong in that scenario, that 2 tires won't really work that well here.
I was kind of with you, though. I thought it was a big mistake just taking 2, but so far it looks pretty good.
Yeah, and he showed early on how good his car was. He's able to go up there, but in that first run, he wasn't able to pass Denny Hamlin as he has now.
And he's now opened up a bit of ground over Denny. As you can see, he's opened up about 3-4 car lengths. Let's go back up front, and you can see Kyle Busch. He now has opened up a 2-second lead over Brad Keselowski. He has led 32 of the 46 laps here at Dover.
Rajon Rondo and the Boston Celtics showed the heart of a champion, advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals, now taking on Orlando's superhero, who's led the unbeaten Magic to 8 straight playoff victories. You're just looking at me waiting to say something. It's the Eastern Conference Finals. Celtics Magic Game 1 coverage begins on ABC tomorrow at 3 Eastern with GMC Sierra NBA Countdown. Just past the 1/4 mark of today's NASCAR Nationwide Series 200-miler at Dover, Kyle Busch out in front for the majority of the 54 laps that have been run. Let's take you up to speed and check in on some of these front runners, starting with Jamie Little.
And your leader, Kyle Busch, just saying on the radio, guys, I know I asked for it, but the car is just getting a bit free center now, so it's going away despite the fact that he continues to check out. But this has been Kyle Busch's track. He's led the most laps in the last 3 races, but he didn't win either one of them. He's ready to get ended. Dave?
Jamie, Brad Keselowski, seeing how this 2-tire stop will work for them. It's interesting talking to Paul Wolf, his crew chief, this morning. Paul told me that, you never totally know what you're going to get with Brad until the race starts. We're not sure we were as good as when we dominated at Richmond, but we might be okay. The car has definitely worked well for them, and maybe that's why they changed only 2 tires. Paul working on what they'll do next. The car tight off the corner right now. Denny Hamlin not happy with his race car right now, but he's talking a little bit about the wind. Very windy out here today, and sometimes those wind gusts can get you when they blow off the corner. Behind Denny Hamlin, Clint Boyer in the 21 car. That race car was tight during this last run. They made an air pressure adjustment for Clint, that car that he said was the best he's had all season, trying to move his way forward. Jamie?
And it's the second week in a row Casey Kane has been in the 38 car. Had a great run last week, finished fourth, and afterwards they got a penalty for an illegal left shock. The team announced the other day they are going to appeal it. The car right now, very good. Dave?
Carl Edwards comes next in the 60 car. That car was tight on entry and landing and snug center up. Interesting how you can use the phrases tight and snug to describe two different things, but crew chief Drew knew what he was talking about. Wedge in the left rear on that pit stop. Jamie?
And Greg Biffle on the 27. You know, he's only scheduled to run through the Charlotte race, which is one more than this race. He is excited. He's back in this car. He wants to get a win for this team who hasn't gone to victory lane since 2005. The 27 car just a little tight. Behind him, Kevin Harvick back in the 33. He says his car needs to be a little bit tighter on the restarts. On that last stop, they just made an air pressure adjustment and filled it up to see if that would help. Dave?
Jamie, Ryan Newman racing the one car after James Buescher was released from that ride earlier this week. Biggest difference between the two drivers, how much they weigh. Significantly heavier is Ryan Newman, a bigger guy than James Buescher, but car chief Nick Harrison told me earlier today, I'd take Ryan Newman and an extra 50 pounds over a lot of guys we could have in this race car. Vince?
In the 10th spot is the 32 of Reed Sorensen, and he has his hands full. He says, I'm way too loose. We've got to do something. In fact, he described 9 on a scale of 10 in regards to how loose that race car right there that a 32 is. Now, the 98 in 11th is Paul Menard. Menard says the car's driving fairly well, but they just feel like it's lacking speed. Says it's still a little loose on top, but he feels like it's running better on the bottom. The 11 is Brian Scott. Scott leads the Rookie of the Year standings, but he says they're not taking a big enough swing at it, or they went the wrong way on that last pit stop because the car is not handling to his liking. Alan?
All right, Vince, thanks. There are the top 12 updates on those top 12. 21 on the lead lap at the moment, with Kyle Busch continuing to lead. The interesting part at the front of the pack, Brad, is that the gap between Kyle Busch and second place, Brad Keselowski, is getting a little shorter.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski has just consistently been marking and tracking down Kyle Busch. I think if he can continue this pace within the next several laps, we could see him on his bumper.
Remember that Keselowski took just 2 tires on the last pit stop. We'll continue from Dover after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Brad Keselowski chasing down Kyle Busch.
Back here at Dover, Kyle Busch continues to lead. Want to remind you, though, Verizon Wireless customers, text champion to 43776 for exclusive champion chats. The contents from NASCAR Now Roundtable experts, and the subject this week, Denny Hamlin's chances to spoil Jimmy Johnson's drive for 5. Well, Brad Keselowski, until he got into some lap traffic, was really closing down on our leader, Kyle Busch. Before we check back in on that, battle for 12th is doing pretty good with Mr. Menard and Leffler going after each other. And there's Jamie McMurray slowly but surely working his way back into the mix. Remember, he started 25th. He's now in 14th. On board with Justin Allgaier, who is shown in, I'm sorry, that's McMurray we're on board with. Let me correct myself, with Jason Leffler, his next target. We talked about the fact Kyle Busch was getting closed in on by Brad Keselowski. Here's what he was saying on the radio.
I don't know how to go any faster. I don't know why he keeps keeping up with me. Well, those 2 tires must have just kept him tight. He must have been really free to start.
And then he got caught in some lap traffic, and that's what opened up the gap again. Let's check speeds at the line, this guys, and see what you think.
Yeah, we saw for quite a few laps there that Keselowski was making up ground on Kyle. And I can see why Kyle was frustrated. I mean, Keselowski's the only car that took 2 tires that last time they pitted. And you can see that lap right there, Keselowski just a little faster than Kyle.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with where each of them's catching some traffic here, because they are in a lot of traffic. But the 2 tires has worked fantastic for Brad Keselowski, and I know that's something that not only that race team will look at, but a lot of others.
A lot of eyes are watching this race, and they're going to see how that worked. I don't know that it'll actually work that way on the Cup cars, but certainly worth trying.
Well, it's a little softer left side tire that they have, and so that coupled with a new right could work in these guys' favor and be something we haven't seen here before at Dover.
Well, while Kyle continues to lead now 61 laps, he's got only 19 cars on the lead lap right now, as you see the 70 of Mark Green going down. We should also tell you that Morgan Shepherd has dropped out of the race, and Kevin LePage has gone and retired from the event after trying to bring it back out. The lead is 1.6 seconds between Kyle and Brad Keselowski. On ABC tomorrow, it's the season finale of Desperate Housewives, and it'll have one fatal ending. ABC's Desperate Housewives season finale. It's tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on ABC. This race has flown by. We've had just the one caution. I know that's probably the kiss of death, but only for 4 laps. We've knocked down 77 so far, working lap 78. And Kyle Busch has now led over 500 laps at this track. And it's just an incredible phenomenon that he has been able to rack up. And he led 172 yesterday in the truck race. There is Jason Keller, and Keller is second in line to get the lucky dog behind Brendan Gaughan. Gaughan's 20th, Jason 21st. They're both a lap down. And what does 500 starts mean to Jason Keller?
I never really had aspirations of being the first to 500, but I'm honored to get that opportunity and to be part of that. But, you know, I honestly, in my heart, hope there's 500 more. You know, I know that that's probably unrealistic, but this has been part of my life.
Jason Keller is wearing a helmet and a driver's suit that commemorates some of his past relationships with sponsors. Had a lot of former crew members come over and say hello to him. One of the real good guys in the garage, and a lot of people rooting for him today. And caught a good break when that first yellow came out because they thought they had a tire going down just at that time. Caution on the track right now, Marty.
We're being told by NASCAR they've got debris on the racetrack. We're waiting to hear exactly where. So for the second time, the caution flag flies.
Debris in turn 1.
And you heard it there on the radio, and down into turn 1. So it'll tighten up the field, and now we will see another round of pit stops. Remember, the last time everybody came in was on lap 35, and now we are working lap 81. Colin.
Well, we'll see if anybody else tries that 2-tire strategy. Have a good feeling that you'll see Keselowski take 4 this time, though.
And we can tell you quickly that Colin Brown is going to be the Aaron's Lucky Dog recipient, as he was the first car 1 lap down in 19th position. So that'll give us 19 cars back on the lead lap. Waiting to see who will be the takers on to pit road, and I think you're right. We can be guaranteed the 22 is going to take 4, but I don't know. What would you do if you were some of these other cars trying to catch up to these Gibbs cars up front?
Well, you got to try something because they're definitely dominating, and that's probably why we saw Keselowski take 2. He's the point leader, and he's looking to get 5 points, and that might have been his only shot to pass Kyle Busch today, at least in the crew chief's mind, that that'd be a good way to get those 5 points, and it worked out for him. The car was actually pretty fast on 2 tires. Here they come.
43 laps of green, and Brad was still the fastest. Let's go with the triple pits. Dave Burns, we're going to send it to you first.
Second place, Brad Keselowski, I'm thinking is going to take 4 tires this time. His car evened out over that long run, but was still just a little bit tight off the corner at the end of the run. So the changes they make there are probably going to include chassis adjustment, looking for the wrench to go in the window. No, it's just going to be air at this point for Keselowski. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin wants spring rubbers out of the right rear. That car loose off the corner. Air pressure adjustment as well for Denny. Jamie?
And Kyle Busch said that after the air pressure adjustment on the last stop, the tires felt squishy. So he said, be careful with your adjustments this time. The call is for wedge 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. Kyle wants to be a bit tighter on the initial takeoff, and he is the first one down and away off pit road. Marty?
And troubles for the 20 pit on that right rear.
Well, it looked like they were working on something on the right rear. I'm not sure if they had a problem or whether they're trying to adjust on the car, but they had a lot of time spent over there, Dave.
Well, and Andy, they talked about it before they came in. We will lose spots on pit road. I don't think they wanted to lose that many, but they had to take, you know, Denny said before the pit stop, if we have any spring rubbers in the rear of this car, I want them out of there, certainly out of the right rear to help tighten up that car, but that was longer than they expected.
Okay, let's show you the nationwide race off pit road, even though they've already completed the race, because we wanted to show you what happened with Denny. And you can see the big winners. Carl Edwards picks up 2. Casey Kane loses 1. Stay with us.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC. Brought to you by Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage, and Coppertone Sport.
All right, we've still got plenty of time to get all this in because there has been a lot happening on pit road. First off, 3 penalties. Casey Kane exiting pit road too fast. Greg Biffle in the 27, Jamie McMurray in the 88, entering too fast. Now, Kane was 5th, Biffle was 7th, McMurray was 14th, and they're all going to go back.
They'll be back there with Denny Hamlin because we saw he spent some time on pit road there trying to get those spring rubbers out of the right rear. See how much time the crew spent getting that done. They made another pit stop though, Dave.
And guys, they did not get that spring rubber out of the right rear, so they came back down pit road and clipped it out with clippers. They couldn't pull it out with the strap that they normally have mounted onto it, so they just cut the thing right out of it and finally got it back. But they lost all that track position anyway, so I thought it was a great move to come back down, and Denny just said, I want that thing out of here, and they got it out, finally.
He is shown in 19th position. And right behind him, in fact, he's the last car shown right now on the lead lap. We can give you 4 waiver rounds: Scott Lagasse, Tony Raines, Joe Nemechek, and Kenny Wallace.
You know, going back to that spring rubber on Denny Hamlin's car, that you want to make sure that that thing stays in that spring. If you're counting on that for your setup, you don't want it falling out of the car during the race. So that's why they had that thing tied in there so good, and actually had it too good to try to pull it out quickly.
So Denny will restart in 19th, the last car on the lead lap. It's Kyle Busch up front alongside with Brad Keselowski, then Carl Edwards, Clint Bowyer 4th, Reed Sorensen now 5th, Ryan Newman in 6th, Menard 7th, Harvick 8th, Leffler 9th, and Trevor Bayne rounds out your top 10. Pace car has pulled down. You can see that Kyle Busch has taken the high side, and boy, he's on the hammer and gone.
Well, that 18 car did get going on the go there.
Well, he wasn't real good when he was up front either on the second restart. 22 car was not real good on that one. He wasn't good on this one, but Kyle Busch is flying right now. And here's a great battle as you've got Reed Sorensen and Clint Bowyer. That is for 4th, and here comes Ryan Newman trying to get into this mix.
Yeah, we heard Reed Sorensen's car was real loose. As a matter of fact, they said a 9 out of 10 loose. So it looks like they've got it better because he's running pretty good against Clint Bowyer right here.
Yeah, if you remember back to qualifying, he said 5 times after he qualified
he loose there though.
So they haven't fixed that problem yet, but got him some good track position right now.
Maybe he's down to 5 or 6 loose.
Let's get more on the 32, Vince.
Well, they considered unhooking the sway bar, decided against that, but they threw a lot at it, made track bar adjustment, wedge adjustment, air pressure adjustment, a little bit of everything, and here's Reed's description of the car.
I mean, we'd lose all our track position if we did that bar. We can't fix it. I guess that's what we'll have to do, but I mean, it's just weird because the balance of the car is not really loose. It just, anytime you try to drive the car, it gets a little pressure on that right rear. I mean, you can't even drive it. And I tried to pass that one car, and I mean, I don't know how it didn't wreck. If we get anybody on the outside of us, and it's, 3 times worse.
That's not where I can see you struggle.
Well, you see him there in the middle, and he was on the outside of that Clint Bowyer move to the inside, so Reed Sorensen still got his hands full, guys.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that. We'll also keep an eye on the fact that now Kyle Busch has opened up a full second lead over Brad Keselowski. A little bit further back, there's Michael Annett taking a peek underneath the 66 of Stephen Wallace. Now, Annett is lap traffic. Here is the battle for 10th. Allgaier is going underneath Trevor Bayne.
Yeah, these 2 young drivers have worked their way up here nicely so far in the first half of this race. They didn't have the best of qualifying efforts, but they're doing a nice job in the race.
Allgaier sure had a good attitude about it. He was in the pit studio during qualifying. He said that he had won that race at Bristol, started back in 30th, and so he wasn't worried about it starting back there at all.
On board with Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Car's loose.
Yeah, Annett stands to get the lucky dog. He is the first car 1 lap down in that 15 car. That's why he's driving aggressively. He wants to stay in that position. somewhere in the back of this pack. There is Denny Hamlin as he's trying to work his way through. Remember, he started 19th on the restart. He's up to 16th.
Yeah, and the other three guys that got caught for speeding, they had to not only start, they had to start the tail end of the pack. So that's why they're just now getting up to these guys at the tail end of the lead lap, because they had to start so much further back. That would have been Biffle and Casey Kane and Jamie McMurray.
And right now, those guys also still on the lead lap, but 9 seconds behind the race leader.
You got to think Denny Hamlin did not like his car at all if they spent that much time and gave up that much track position to try to adjust on it. He's putting himself in a pretty risky position here, having to pass a lot of these cars. You see Casey Kane now just dodging that lap car.
Yeah, but Andy, I'd have to think that he thought that, yeah, normally it's going to take a little bit longer of a pit stop, but you're probably only thinking about losing 5 or 6 spots and not having all the trouble that they had getting that rubber out of there.
Well, Casey goes around Colin Brown. That is for position. Move Kane up to 16th. He's right behind Denny Hamlin. That's Willie Allen on the high side. He is lap traffic. A little further back, here comes Greg Biffle. He was another one caught for speeding on pit road. He gets around Mike Wallace. Back on board with Jamie McMurray in 19th position, the last car on the lead lap. And you can see where he is right now. He started 25th, and that speeding penalty was extremely harsh for him because he had been working his way front. And we're almost to halfway. You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Time for our 5-hour Energy Rapid Recap as we're just past halfway. Jason Keller, honored by many of the crewmen in the Nationwide Series that he's worked with in the past before he made his 500th career start in this series. Man who's dominated much of the day today, Kyle Busch.
He has been outstanding. He's led 90 of 97 laps. He is just on a roll.
Trouble. Brad Keselowski on the right of the screen. That's on the front straightaway.
You're fine. Say hello.
Didn't hit a thing. Boy, he was fortunate right there.
How does that happen?
I have no idea. He was running third and really running well. And we look up and he's spinning. I got to see this replay.
We talked on NASCAR Countdown earlier how rarely do you spin at Dover and not hit anything. Twice today. Somebody spun and not hit anything. Dave, what happened?
Alan, other drivers commenting they thought the 22 had, quote, something going on. And then they thought maybe the car was just way loose, but perhaps he had a right front tire going down. Here he is losing it off the corner right in front of Clint Boyer.
Yikes.
Whoa, look at that. Oh, man, he just misses that wall. Still doesn't touch it. Boy, he got lucky. That's a lucky break. Man, I'll tell you.
That's some good driving.
Woo, that was great race car driving. Look at that. He's spinning.
And
could have been a right front tire. Could have been a right front tire. Man, oh man, he got lucky. Got to take advantage of those brakes when you get them, AB. I'll tell you, you don't get many here at Dover.
So spinning out of second position and not hitting anything, Brad Keselowski, the championship leader in the Nationwide Series, with another chance. He'll have to come to pit road, certainly to reset the roof flap for safety. NASCAR will make him do that, but I'm sure he's going to want 4 fresh tires on that car. Now the question becomes, does everybody else come to pit road? They were just in at lap 82.
I don't think so. I think everyone should be pretty good. You know, some of the guys in the back may want to come and get a little bit of fuel, but no, I mean, I think Brad comes basically by himself, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can make those spots back up. He was really, really fast.
As Kevin Harvick in 6th place is the first one to come to pit road. So 6th place Kevin Harvick is the first one. We'll return to Dover after this message and a word from our ABC stations under caution just past halfway.
Against the man, Mario Andretti. Sullivan has the lead. Danny Sullivan losing control of the car, doing a magnificent job of not hitting the wall and continuing in the race.
Danny Sullivan has won the 69th Indianapolis 500.
Expect more drama and excitement when the Indianapolis 500 returns on ABC Sunday, May 30th.
And of course, Danny Sullivan, a driver for Roger Penske, and another Roger Penske driver just had a spin and managed just to tick the wall. You see the left rear corner damage. Could we have another spin and win?
Well, he's one of the cars that's been fast enough to challenge Kyle Busch. Let's see if they can get it all dialed in here. Man, he was so lucky not to hit anything, so take that luck. Maybe he can take it all the way to victory lane.
He used up a lot of his luck there in getting that done, but there was some skill involved there. Terrific job. You just don't see that. We said it happened a number of times, but see if he can come from the back.
Getting ready for the restart at the Heluva Good 200. We're going to go back to green flag racing with 108 laps complete. Kyle Busch is your leader, and he has decided to take the high side again. Clint Boyer now right alongside as we go back to green flag racing. Behind him is Edwards, Sorensen, Newman, Menard, Leffler, and Allgaier. And man, is he good on these restarts.
He's gone. Yeah, as I think about it in my years of racing here, I like that high side move. The banking, even you don't have as much up there. You're on a flatter surface up there, and you don't spin the tires as much as what you can down on the bottom part of that, as we see Ryan Newman here trying to go around Carl Edwards.
Boy, Newman giving this #1 James Finch car its best ride of the year. I mean, he has moved that car now into 4th position past Carl Edwards.
Got a little extra horsepower. He's got all his dogs on the hood there.
Denny Hamlin, remember, he was fighting his way back up into this pack. He is now up to 9th, going underneath Trevor Bayne. That is 4th position.
Yeah, and there's the 33, Kevin Harvick. He was the first one of the lead lap cars to pit during that last caution, so we'll see if that plays as a benefit for him as the laps go on throughout this run.
Harvick taking a peek under the 99, trying to push his way into the 10th spot. Let's get more on the 33 from Jamie Little.
Well, when that last caution came out, the plan was for Kevin Harvick to pit if the leaders would pit. Well, the leaders stayed out, and Kevin committed. And Ernie Kopa's crew chief said, no, stay out, stay out. It was too late. This is what Kevin said on the radio.
If you want me to stay out in those situations, you're going to tell me before I get on pit road. Pretty much devastating right there.
Well, you heard it. He said it's pretty much devastating. He was 7th when the caution fell. He is now 14th.
And you guys are shaking your head.
I don't think so. I don't think it's devastating. I think it might actually work out for him. He's in the top 10 now. He's got 4 tires. You know, I can see what he's talking about, but I really don't think it's going to kill him.
Guys, Greg Biffle in trouble there. He slipped back 3 spots in a matter of a corner and a half.
Well, Casey Kane also made a pit stop and got tires. And so did the 88, so that might be what's happening to Greg.
And the one thing that Kevin Harvick, back to him saying, could possibly do if we run something less than 40 laps here, could allow him to get 2 tires and get even better track position for that last run.
Yeah, that's what I like as a crew chief. You got some more options right there. So if I was Ernie Cope, I believe I'd be telling him, hey, man, this might work out for us.
Yeah, and as a driver, when you're sitting there, we see Justin Allgaier getting out of shape a little bit.
Word is he got loose, and it's going to cost him at least 2 spots. You saw Denny Hamlin. Here comes Jason Leffler. Leffler coming off his season best 5th last week at Darlington. Let's take another look at it.
See right here, you're pretty much in the power right there, but you're having to turn just a little bit, and as he went to turn the car, that kicked the back end out. Generally see that probably takes a little bit of time. Maybe the air pressure's not totally built up in these tires.
That drops Allgaier back to 9th. Look at the gap that he has opened up. Kyle Busch leads Clint Boyer by 1.2 seconds, and I got to tell you guys, you at the beginning of the race, we talked about the fact there have been 7 different winners in 7 years here at this spring race, and I asked you each to pick a guy who you thought could do it today. You picked Kyle Busch, Andy, and you picked the guy in 2nd place.
Yeah, and that's only because I wasn't up here and he could pick first, or I'd have picked Kyle Busch.
Yeah, mine was a no-brainer.
But these, I mean, I think we kind of knew that coming in. These 2 guys had really good practice sessions yesterday, and you know, as far as Kyle Busch goes, anybody would have, could have done that because he has been dominant here. He just hasn't gotten to victory lane in this spring race.
Biggest mover since the last restart. You're looking at him, Denny Hamlin. He's picked up 6 spots. Jamie McMurray and Casey Kane with 4 apiece. All right, let's check in on the 22. Brad Keselowski is still running in 19th. There's only 20 cars on the lead lap. Dave Burns, what's the story?
Paul Wolf had a good look at those damaged tires. Do you and Brad believe he had a tire going down?
Well, it's hard to say because the front tires were both flat spotted, and so there was no air left in them to check to see if we have one going down. I believe we must have had a tire going down though. That last run we made no adjustments, just put a set of tires on it, and all of a sudden went to loose. So hard to say. Ruby Tuesday Dodge has been strong all day, and we feel like we can rebound from this. So we'll just keep working hard, and just got to say thanks to all the guys back at the shop that work on this car all week, because we don't get a chance to thank them enough. But for all their hard work and giving us cars, it's good.
No real damage on the car, just a tape patch on that left rear, and they pulled the left front fender because Brad said I hit it on the apron a little bit.
Yeah, I'm watching that. I'm not so sure that he doesn't have another problem. That car does look like it's pretty evil. While that interview was going on, we watched Brad get out of shape 3 or 4 times right there, and that car does not look right.
You're looking at 4th, 5th, and 6th on screen with Ryan Newman being chased down right now by Carl Edwards, but here comes Denny Hamlin. Hamlin closing fast. Justin Allgaier has got his issues with the 9th position at stake and almost got swallowed up by the 33 of Kevin Harvick. We hear that Allgaier got loose again. Now Hamlin going underneath Carl Edwards, so here comes Denny, move him into the top 5. Remember how just a short time ago he was the last car on the lead lap.
Looks like it's paying off, that change they made. They went to that right rear, took the rubber they had in the spring out of there to try to help it. Looks like it's done that. And looks like it was a good decision, even though they didn't plan on losing that many spots. They gained a lot of them back.
He was 19th on lap 87. We're working lap 123, and he's back into the top 5 and setting his sights right now on the 1 of Ryan Newman.
Yeah, he'll probably have to have a caution to get himself into position to challenge his teammate Kyle Busch again. But he's shown, or it certainly looks like, that maybe they've helped fix the problem for him. He's got a fast race car once again.
He's going underneath Newman right now. Down the backstretch they go. Newman's got the momentum carrying him, but it's still the low line. Can Hamlin make it stick? Here he comes. He's been really good down low here. Can he make the pass? No, Newman comes back on him.
Yeah, it's really hard when you're that car on the inside. You have to be extremely loose not to slide up into that car on the outside there. And Denny was doing the right thing there and not overdriving the car.
Carl Edwards just watching this.
Yeah, you see Ryan Newman giving plenty of room. I mean, he's giving Denny just the whole bottom of the racetrack. You can see right there, just gives him a couple lanes to work. Still got to be a little frustrating for Denny, though, not to be able to clear him.
Well, here's Carl's view of all this going on. You can see he's not willing to get up there and mix it up just in case something happens.
And you can see the way that Denny drives is he's getting out of the throttle a little sooner than what Ryan Newman is. Gets back to the throttle sooner, and he's hoping that one of these times he'll get just enough throttle or be able to stay in it enough. Here he's going to clear him going down into turn 3.
So now move Denny Hamlin up to the 4th position, and now Carl says, I'm going to get the hammer down, see if I can follow through. I don't think it's going to work. Newman again still running that high line. He's been able to carry the momentum off the corners.
Yeah, sometimes you get pushed up there, Dale. Now you have to speak from a driver's point of view, but you get pushed to that outside lane, sometimes you find something.
Well, already Kyle Busch has wrapped up the most laps led. He's up to 113. That's the 6th straight Dover race. JGR has done it. Let's check the racing calendar because we've got drag racing action coming your way tonight at 8 Eastern and then tomorrow at 7 Eastern on ESPN2 with the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Southern Nationals. NASCAR Now tomorrow morning on ESPN2 at 9 a.m. Our next stop in the NASCAR Nationwide Series will be Charlotte 2 weeks from today, 2 o'clock Eastern, right here on ABC. And then the Indianapolis 500 telecast presented by GoDaddy.com. That is 2 weeks from tomorrow, Sunday, May 30th, also on ABC starting 12 noon. Well, there is Colin Brown. Let's give a shout out because these guys from Roush Fenway Racing have been struggling mightily. Brown is currently running 17th. Stenhouse is running 20th, and both of them are on the lead lap. Stenhouse, the last car on the lead lap. Let's get an update on Ricky Stenhouse. We're on board with him, Jamie.
Well, he's doing all he can to hang on right now and stay on that lead lap. Remember at the top of the show we talked about this is his first time here. At 22 years old, most of these tracks he's going to is the first time. He told me having Matt Kenseth in the 16 car the last 2 weeks was a huge help. Matt actually followed him around Darlington, called him on the phone this week, and helped him out and gave him some advice. And Ricky said it's helping tremendously. It's all about Carl Edwards and Matt Kenseth to help these young guys get up and going. Marty?
Well, and it's also about owner points because these two cars, the 6 and 16, are not the guaranteed positions of being in the top 30. But you can see right now, if the race ended, well, the 16 would be 28th. The 6 would still need about 46 more points. Battle for 10th place is starting to get a little interesting. That is Justin Allgaier. He's got it. Kevin Harvick wants it.
Yeah, Kevin's been trying for about the last 7 or 8 laps to find a way around this 12 car, but hasn't been able to do it. Looks like Kevin's really struggling whenever he can get up beside of Justin Allgaier to get enough power down off the corner to make the pass.
Let's get more on that 12th car, Vince.
Well, Justin Allgaier reporting that it's tight, and listen to his description on the radio.
I know what you're saying, Ted. Trust me, promise me, I know what you're saying.
Before, bud, just stay within yourself. Stay within yourself. You're doing a great job.
It is bouncing around like a pogo stick, though.
A pogo stick cannot be comfortable here at Dover, but I give the 12 team credit. They bounced back from a terrible pit stop early on, a little bickering back and forth on the radio. Allgaier is refocused, and on they march.
That's Eric McClure there passing. McClure is 4 laps down in 33rd. What about Justin's teammate, the 22 of Brad Keselowski? I think your guys' observation that something else is wrong with this car is dead spot on. He is not moving up. He is 19th, 20 seconds off the pace, and not running anywhere close to the laps of the leaders.
Yeah, I think he had something going on. You see the car twitch right there off the corner. I think he had something going on with that car before he spun a while ago. And what's he saying, Dave?
Well, Andy, listen to this radio transmission just a few laps ago.
Just so damn loose, Paul. I don't know what happened.
Got one more stop. We'll pick you up here. Nice and smooth for us. Nobody's coming from behind.
So they will have one more stop to work on it, but that looseness has not gone away. Just a few laps after that, Paul asked him, has that gone through the whole run, or is it getting better? He said, nope, not getting any better. Loose.
And right now, with Kyle Busch leading, Kyle would lead the points championship over Brad by 29 points, 73 over Kevin Harvick, but we've still got quite a few laps to run.
Yeah, you see right here, Kyle Busch now catching him to put him a lap down. And when you have a car that does that during the race, it's usually some mechanical issue, something they'll find when they get to the shop, that whether it's a spring collapsed on them or something just mechanically went wrong, because this car really switched over from being one of the best cars in the race to now just trying to keep up.
Yeah, it looks like whatever it is has been something in the front end, the way that they've done things, and it's really going to put them in a bad situation here, because this 18 car is flying. He's not far behind from putting a lap down, but Kyle looks like his car is perfect, Jamie.
His car is perfect. He's not saying a whole lot, but Marty, you mentioned if we leave here and he wins, he could be the points leader. I asked Kyle this morning about running the full season, and he said Brad Coleman will definitely be in this 18 car starting at Nashville for 3 races. And he said, I am a little bummed because I feel like we could win another championship. He goes, but hey, I just do what I'm told. Marty.
Don't we all? All right, the laps are starting to wind down. We've completed 144 of 200. Kyle's led to 131. We are under our caution flag here, a 4th one today at Dover International Speedway, as the 23 of Robert Richardson was very slow on the racetrack, and there he is. No damage on the left side of the car. I'm looking for the right side.
Ignition box.
Oh, ignition box. Let's go back and take a look.
Yeah, it was right in front of a group of cars right here. Looked like something happened to the car. He's waving his hands, you can see, and there comes the leader. Whoa. Kyle Busch, a bunch of cars trying to dodge him, so just to avoid a bad incident right here at NASCAR through the caution flag.
That was Eric McClure that almost ran right up his tailpipe, and luckily he was able to avoid him. He has made it
off, Robert.
He's made it to pit road.
It's off right now, but we had a big white smoke cloud back behind the car.
That's why NASCAR threw the caution. Thought maybe there was oil on the racetrack too.
Well, we can tell you that Brad Keselowski went 1 lap down right as we went to the break. He gets the lucky dog, so he'll be our 19th car on the lead lap. And there he is, and that car has definitely got some issues.
Yeah, they got a lucky break to be able to get in here and work on it. I'm not sure, though, that they're going to be able to fix what's wrong with this thing on a pit stop. They may have to get this thing back to the shop to get it fixed, but at least they can adjust on it a little bit.
Well, Brad has a Nationwide Series streak running, a record 77 straight races where he's been running at the finish, and his record on concrete over the last 10 races has been absolutely astounding, an average of 3.5. And look at the lead the 18 has going to pit road.
Oh yeah, that helps when you got a lot of cars in between you right there. You can get down to your pit stall and have a little buffer.
Well, guys, it's been another good run for Trent Owens and his team in the 32. Today, Reed Sorensen in the car. They're 4th. They still need some more grip in that right rear. Going to put around a wedge in the left rear and 4 tires for the 32. Dave?
Center of your screen, Clint Boyer running 2nd. Needs help up off the corner, a little bit tight. Air going into the right rear tire as they go to the right side. Denny Hamlin, bottom of your screen, loose into the corner. They will add air to the right front tire to help that car. Jamie?
Crew chief to leader Kyle Busch. You need anything, Kyle? Nope. 4 tires and fuel for the man who's dominated the race, looking for his 2nd win here at Dover. He's down and away, and again leads the field.
It's not even close on the Nationwide Insurance race off pit road. Look at this. That's how long it took for Boyer to cross the line. Then Denny Hamlin. Trevor Bayne picking up 9 spots with only 2 tires. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Kyle Busch, the leader here at Dover. You want to see how you pick up pit spots thanks to your crew? Let's take a ride along with Hollywood and the 66.
Come on, guys. Nice smooth stop on this 5-hour Toyota. Come on, baby. Now, that's what we're talking about, boys. That's what we need right there. A few places on pit road. Woo!
Went in 17th, came out 14th, and we're coming back to green flag racing here at Dover as we now have 44 laps to go. And look at Clint Boyer side by side. It's the best restart anybody's had against Kyle Busch.
I mean, by far, Clint Boyer was ready to go right there, and Kyle Busch did not get that big start like he has been.
And remember when Denny Hamlin was 7 seconds back? Look where he is.
Yeah. Could be a challenge for the win. Now, you could see Clint Boyer really working the steering wheel, though, when he was on the inside of Kyle Busch. Looked like he was extremely loose.
Yeah, one thing I've seen with Kyle, he's really good the first 5 to 10 laps after these restarts. But then I've seen lap times from some other cars like Denny Hamlin and Clint Boyer that might be able to catch him.
Trevor Bayne on 2 tires just slid up the hill, lost 2 spots, both the 32 and the 38. Sorensen and Casey Kane get around him, and here comes Ryan Newman. The 66 of Stephen Wallace has moved up to the battle for 12th now. In fact, he is right on the back bumper, trying to get the spot away. Side by side now with the 10 of Jason Leffler. While we've got a moment, you're watching all this, there were 8 waiver rounds. McClure, Stenhouse, Raines, Lagacy, Kenny Wallace, McCumbee, Bliss, and Brendan Gaughan. Battle for 4th, still heating up. Casey Kane trying to get underneath the 32 of Sorensen.
Yeah, Casey making a nice rebound from that speeding on pit road penalty that he had to send him to the back of the field. So this is back to basically where he was running before in the 4th spot.
Braun Racing teammates side by side as the laps continue to wind down here now. Next time by, we will have 40 to go. Everybody should be good on fuel, so it could be just a good old-fashioned shootout.
And you can see the difficulty Casey's having in making that pass on Reed Sorensen, who looks like he's got his car driving a lot better.
Well, we've actually seen more guys, the later this race has gone, have more success up on the high side.
If you see that 32 car, he was so loose early in the race, and now Dale said they've worked on it, and he's still right there with those leaders.
Trevor Bayne, remember, he only took 2 tires. He's got his hands full with Carl Edwards trying to tuck it up underneath him. That is for 7th position.
Well, hopefully this will work out for Trevor. I always questioned when your car wasn't exactly right what 2 tires would do for it. We saw Brad Kay do it earlier in the race. He had a good car at that point in time.
Well, you see Paul Menard and Jamie McMurray getting together just a little bit.
Yeah, a little nudge, but nobody got turned. Justin Allgaier got an eyeful of it. Here we go back up front to the battle for 4th with Kane and Sorensen, door handle to door handle.
And we're getting down to the end now. Not going to be much give and take. You're going to try to just see what your car will do. You're not going to give up a spot easily.
No, it's take time. It's not give time.
Yeah, you can see how these guys on the inside are having such a difficult time. A lot of that comes from getting aero loose down on the inside. You don't have as much air on your car there, especially on that right rear part of the quarter panel and the spoiler there. You have to be extremely careful on entrance and exit of these corners.
Casey Kane still trying to get it done on the 32. If you weren't with us earlier, he finally makes the pass. Of course, Brian Vickers has been in this car a number of times this year as well in the Dollar General Toyota. And he has been released from the hospital in Washington on his way back. Should be back in Charlotte by now, in fact, and we wish him well in his recovery from the blood clots. So that battle has settled down as Casey Kane now opens up a little bit of ground. But here's another one picking up. Carl Edwards going underneath again, Trevor Bayne.
Yeah, this 2-tire strategy is really not that bad. I mean, it's a good move for the 99 team to steal some spots. And you see Carl Edwards now trying to work his way underneath Trevor. And his car looks pretty good too, Dave.
Andy, I know as a crew chief, you hate when you predict the future and you predict something bad, but Drew Blickensderfer said today that they tightened the car up for qualifying and they hope that wouldn't hurt us. Well, guess what? That 60 car has been tight all day. Last run, chattering the front tires. They changed forward and made adjustments to it, but that's been his issue all day, as Harvick will now take that spot.
Yeah, all of a sudden he looked like he was going forward. Now he's sliding back again.
Yeah, if he has those tires chattering in the front, it's hard to really make that car do what you want it to do.
Yeah, and we saw Kevin Harvick trying to pass Trevor Bayne a while ago, and that's when Carl passed him. Now Harvick's able to make that pass as Carl Edwards couldn't get the job done.
Look, this brings up another issue we really haven't touched much on. Carl Edwards is the lead Ford. That is 9th position. 10th is the 98 of Menard. Ford has yet to win a race this year in either series, Cup or Nationwide.
I don't think there's any doubt it's what they know that they're struggling to see Jamie McMurray trying to take away that 10th spot from Paul Menard. But the Fords certainly are struggling. You know, I think it's a lot of issues there, and they're working through them. And because of the level of competition, it makes it more difficult when you get just a little bit behind to catch back up.
Things starting to stretch out just a little bit. There's Biffle taking a look. There's the biggest stretch up front. Kyle Busch by 1.1 seconds with 32 laps to go here at Dover. "26 laps to go at the NASCAR Nationwide Series race here at Dover. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. And right now, Kyle Busch, well, he has now led 161 laps. He's led over 150 laps at 14 previous times. He's gone on to win 9 of those, including here in September of 2008 from the pole. He has got a 1.6 second over Clint Boyer. 9th, 10th, and 11th is it's Trevor Bayne, Jamie McMurray, Paul Menard, and Jason Leffler. And that is the best action we've got going on the track for position. The battle up front really is not a battle. It's Busch, Boyer, Hamlin, Kane, and Sorensen, your top 5.
See, Jamie McMurray's been working the high side a little bit here.
Oh,
see if he does that with Trevor Bayne again.
Trevor's been running up there a little bit too. Looks like he's going to give that lane to McMurray.
Yeah, he's going to get right to the right rear quarter here.
You know, McMurray's car just hasn't been perfect today, but he's really battled hard for all these spots.
Yeah, I think it says a lot that he's been able to get this thing into the top 10.
Well, if anybody followed us through practice yesterday and qualifying, you know the trials and tribulations that this team on the 88 had trying to figure it out. So, yes, it has been amazing to see how well they've put it back together. Trevor Bayne right now has got his hands full of the 98 of Paul Menard and also Jason Leffler in the mix, and 2 other cars behind, including Greg Biffle and Michael Annett. And there's Brad Keselowski showing some signs of life. He's 15th right now, 14 seconds behind the race lead.
Yeah, Keselowski's car is definitely better this run than it was the last run. I don't know if it's back to 100%, but what are they saying about the 22 car, Dave?
The best thing is that he is not screaming about the car being loose. That wedge and air adjustment they made on the last stop and getting lucky dog has helped it as he continues to battle in this pack. You know, it's too bad for these two, Paul Wolf, the crew chief, and Brad Keselowski, because one thing Paul told me was they're really looking forward to having a good direction when they come back here in the fall. Instead, I think they're going to be trying to run down a mystery gremlin that got this car so loose that it caused him to spin out.
Well, you saw as all that was going on, Trevor Bayne is starting to lose some spots. He got passed by Leffler. He's got Biffle underneath him right now. Here comes Keselowski following Biffle.
And one thing with Brad Keselowski is whenever they made their pit stop after they spun, they thought they had a flat tire that was creating their loose situation. So they really didn't adjust on the car until this last pit stop. So they gave up a lot of time that they could have been further up in the pack and making more adjustments.
Yeah, that's one of the frustrating parts about these relatively short Nationwide Series races. You don't get but a couple of opportunities to adjust on it, and if you miss one, it can really cost you.
Trevor Bayne and everybody going around the lap traffic of Mark Green. Trevor, his first time here at Dover, he's doing a nice job. He's running 13th right now. Remember, his best career finish was 6th at Las Vegas earlier this year. And there you can see his cycle.
And 13th is where he was running before he made that 2-tire stop. So looks like that 2-tire change is probably going to hurt him.
Let's check speeds at the line, see who's fastest now with about 17 laps to go.
Big surprise. Yeah,
yeah.
Kyle Busch is still fastest.
And he was lapping a car doing that too.
Well, and we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, Kyle Busch dominated the truck race yesterday and led 172 laps, only to have a fuel issue that ended up finishing him in 16th. Last year at this race, remember, he had a tire go down on the final restart.
He's got to be thinking, you know, he's sitting here leading this race all day, has the best car, 16 laps to go. And he's probably thinking, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, yesterday, if it hadn't been for the green-white checker, you know, he was probably going to be okay in continuing to run that. So that created a problem for him there. And I'm sure that, you know, right now we see this battle going on with Justin Allgaier trying to go around Trevor Bayne. That Kyle's probably thinking, you know, what is it going to be today? A green-white checker or extended green-white checker? What is it going to be?
On board with Allgaier, Bayne has already slipped a couple of spots. Biffle and Keselowski got around him while we were checking up front, and he's losing a couple more right here.
Yeah, and then Michael Annette's car really strong right here in this group. He got a lap down earlier, but now he's made the most of getting that lap back.
Let's get an update on the 99, Vince.
Well, you guys documented the two-tire strategy that they used earlier, went up some spots, gained 9 on that stop, and then have since fallen back to about where they were running 13th. Jerry Baxter, the crew chief, says the cars in the traffic is not handling as well as they would like. But one thing he's been very impressed with was the communication of Trevor Bayne throughout the course of this weekend. He says he's become much more concise, much more descriptive, and he's spot on with how the car is feeling right now. My guess is he's not feeling too well, but hanging on right now in the top 15.
Thanks, Vince, for that update. You go on board, you see the 66 of Stephen Wallace. He is running 18th right now, and Bayne right now in front of him. Colin Brown and Ricky Stenhouse are 19th and 20th. Right behind him there, you see the duo as they're coming into view. Couple of cars we can update you on. We should tell you Mike Wallace has taken it behind the wall as they've got some issues. And a total now of 8 cars off track. Let's get an update on Jason Keller. Vince, it's not gone as planned.
Well, you know, you talked earlier about this being his historic 500th start, and he didn't want it to just be quantity. He wanted it to be quality and thought they had the capabilities of doing that. But they had a broken right rear shock mount about midway through the race. They lost about 20 laps in the garage getting that fixed. So not the way that Jason Keller had hoped it would be, but what a great accomplishment of that 500th Nationwide Series start today.
Jason came back and he's 21 laps down, 34th, and there's not much you can do when that shock mount doesn't cooperate.
Oh man, that'll kill you right there. You have to fix that or you can't drive the car.
This is one of the best battles we have on the racetrack. Stephen Wallace trying to get around Trevor Bayne. That is for 17th. You're not missing anything up front. The Kyle Busch parade continues. He leads by 2.1 seconds.
Yeah, Trevor's been able to do a good job. It's just whenever these cars that had fresher tires would catch him and get him in an aero situation that made his car do something different, that he's fallen back. But he's been able to keep a good pace here and been able to keep Stephen Wallace behind him right at this point for about the last 10 laps.
Willie Allen's they've been able to keep in contact with these two. Willie is 3 laps down in that 05 car in 27th position. But whoa, as Trevor gets a little loose there, and now Stephen's going to try the high line.
Yeah, and that's where you could really get in a situation when he gets a run there.
Goes high, comes low, look out, no contact. Can he carry the momentum through? He's got Eric McClure in front of him as a pick if he can use him. Trevor wants to come down. Stephen's saying no dice.
I'm in here this time. I've got you.
Oh, and we've got a caution with 7 laps to go as looking for around the racetrack.
The 70 car slow on the backstretch.
That is Mark Green. He's already down on the apron. Right front. Looking like it's needing some more of that oxygen.
Or nitrogen.
Or, yeah. Give me air, please.
Looks like Brendan Gaughan will be the lucky dog on this round.
Well, here we are at Dover. The final caution came with 10 or less laps to go in 6 of the last 8 races. How about if we make that 7 of the last 9? Brendan Gaughan will get the lucky dog. That'll give us 21 cars on the lead lap. And a tip of the hat to both Colin Brown and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. They are still on the lead lap, and they're in one piece, and that's what that team needs.
Good news for them. Yep, that is.
All right, so it looks like we're going to have another shootout, and that's the last thing Kyle Busch wanted to see, especially after what happened yesterday in the truck race and what happened here last year when he had that flat.
I don't think you'll see the leaders come down pit road. You'll see probably some of the cars on the lead lap try to take tires, maybe steal a few spots, but they have what they've got on there right now for this last shootout.
Jason Radcliffe on the box for the
He's
18.
thinking, man, I did not want to see that caution.
No, but he's won every restart but the last one where Clint Boyer kept up with him at least for a couple of corners.
See if this is our week. Maybe it's our week to win.
See if it's our week to win.
Oh, no, I knew he wasn't coming.
Yeah, Kyle faked, so did Denley, but the 62 did come in. Brendan gone.
Looks like Carl Edwards going to make a pit stop.
Carl is coming in. Carl is 8th on the track right now.
Track bar, 2 tires. Round down the track bar, 2 tires.
Well, let's send it to Dave Burns and see what happens on this final pit stop for Carl. See if it'll help him.
Yep, 2 tires for him, and 8th place is what they gave up, which sounds like a pretty decent move. You put a couple of fresh tires on there. You got a little more grip than the guys in front of you. Going to make a little track bar adjustment as well, it looks like. And it's going to be 4 tires, so Carl's going to have 4 fresh ones and be charging to the front.
So the crew does its job. You noticed something on the car.
Well, I saw that strap on the rear glass. That's not a big deal, and I'm sure that won't cause them to have to come back in. But you heard Drew Blickensdorfer planning on changing 2 tires, but he changed that right there at the last minute because not a lot of leaders were on pit road.
Yeah, I think when they made their plan to come down pit road, they thought they could bring a lot of others with them, and it didn't work that way.
Yes, again.
All right, let's get some updates from pit road, and let's talk to the crew chiefs. Jamie, what's Jason Radcliffe saying?
Well, we'll see what he's thinking right now. Kyle just came on the radio when that caution came out and said, well, let's see. Is this our week to win? What do you think, Jason? Is it?
I hope so. I mean, our combos, Toyota's been good all day. Kyle's done an awesome job. Guys on pit road have done an awesome job. I hope so. I mean, we got, we still got 5 laps to go. So the 21, the 20, they're pretty good. You never know at the end of these things what can happen. But I believe we got the right driver for this one. You know, it's to come out here every week and we have an opportunity to win. You know, hats off to all the guys back at the shop, Doug Hewitt and all those guys that prepare these cars every week. They do just a fabulous job, and we appreciate them.
It's been his race all day. It's his to lose, Dave.
Jamie, 2nd place. Clint Boyer stayed out as well. Dan Deeringhoff is the crew chief. Why no tires? All track position?
That's all track position. Goodyear brought a really good tire this weekend, and you know, can't give up the track position. Saw some guys do it earlier, and they never really made it back. So see what we got here on this restart.
What about catching the 18?
We ran beside him there for a corner or 2 on that last restart. So the Zaxby Chevrolet can do that again. Maybe give him a little nudge or something. Whatever we got to do to win this thing.
There you go. Clint Boyer will start side by side with Kyle Busch. Marty?
Well, Clint's got some numbers in his favor. Take a look at these statistics and notice the best average finish on concrete, and it's going to go to Clint Boyer, 5.6. All-time wins, Kevin Harvick, 7, but none of them here at Dover.
Yeah, that's surprising that Kevin Harvick's not won here. Yeah, I can't help but think, though, in this situation, the last race here, how we had Kyle Busch have a problem late in the race and got crazy.
You had leveled off there with me. You get you a restart like you did a while ago, you might get his ass here, man. We're racing for a win.
That's the boss man calling in right there. He wants him to get up on that wheel.
Mr. Childress, as the lights are out on the pace car, let's get a quick update from Jamie Little.
And Stuart Cooper is the crew chief for Casey Kane. You guys have been stout all day. You overcame a penalty. Do you have anything for those 3 front runners?
Yeah, I don't know. That seems to be a big topic this week, but you know, I don't know what happened with that shock deal last week. I really couldn't understand what you said, but the Great Clips Toyota's been great all day. Casey's done a good job. You know, he got that speeding penalty earlier, but he just drove it right back to the front. It's been fun with him. I've had several races with him, you know, even last year, and we felt like we had cars to win and just could never finish the deal, but it's been a good run for us. Good run last week at Darlington, minus the infraction for sure.
Basically asked if you guys could win, but you're a crew chief. Yes is the answer, Marty.
All right, and remember last year on a restart late in the race, Brad Keselowski is not anywhere close to being in the race lead, but a flat tire that nobody knew about. Joey Logano gets into his teammate, and Brad says, thank you, the door's open, and I'm gone. And that's the one thing that he does not want to see again.
Never know.
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, and you have to not spin the tires right here.
Here we go.
All right, we're going back to green flag racing this time.
Oh, no.
Look out, crash on the front straightaway. Clint gets collected. Oh, the 98 and the 99 of Trevor Bayne.
Some hard licks right there.
McCumbee in the 09 also involved.
I'm not sure Clint Boyer didn't spin the tires on that restart.
Either that or could he have missed a gear? I mean, it just did not go like he did on the restart prior. And the damage for Trevor Bayne. Oh, and Casey Kane gets swept up in this mess as well.
Man. Now this is a typical Dover crash right here. Nowhere to go.
And really, this is our 6th caution, but this is really our first big incident of the day.
Yeah, we've been pretty clean all day, and we've seen a couple cars spin without hitting. And now we've got the, like I said, one of the typical crashes you see here.
So here at the Heluva Good 200, we have our 6th caution, and what was looking as a potential promising day for the 21 just went south.
And Clint just did not get going good there, and you see
he
Denny
just got
in the back
clipped
of him.
Yeah. He wasn't going, and Denny tried to go left of him. When he did, he caught a piece of the bumper, and that just turned Clint Boyer to the right.
So Denny's got damage as well. You see the smoke on the left front tire, and boy, the 99 took a big hit. Here's another view.
Hit him hard. Oh, man. Casey Kane just a wrong place at the wrong time. Paul Menard, hard lick.
Another hard lick from the 99.
Pardon me, I said it was the 20 of Denny. It was actually Casey Kane that has the tire rub. Let's go on board.
Carry on. You're clear of the 98. Whoa, sit down. Get down and dig. Get down and dig. Dig, dig, dig. Okay, you're good.
Another view again. Boy, big hit with Trevor Bayne and Paul Menard.
See, a lot of these cars raced hard all day, stayed clean, and then to get swept up in this at the end of the race got to be frustrating.
Yeah, you see there, Paul Menard was getting on the brakes. He kind of saw a little bit of what was happening. Greg Biffle wasn't able to slow down, got in the back of him.
So we have a red flag situation now, as there is a lot of debris to clean up on the track. There is Paul as he makes his way to the ambulance for the mandatory ride to the infield care center. And Trevor Bayne is out of his car. Looks to be favoring that ankle.
Yeah, pretty hard lick right there.
We'll check in on him. And there is what's left of the 21, which, as we mentioned, looked oh so promising.
Yeah, the red flag is out, so the crew not able to do any work on the car itself. So they'll try to get some stuff together here to repair it when the caution comes back out.
All right, we're going to take this opportunity to step aside for just a few moments. Kyle Busch is still the race leader, but we have a red flag situation here at Dover.
ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series on ABC, brought to you by Applebee's new real burgers from across America. There's no place like the neighborhood.
We are under a red flag condition here at Dover International Speedway, and Vince Welch is caught up with one of those involved in this multi-car crash, Casey Kane.
Well, a tough break, too, because these guys had come back from some mishap early in the race and just ran right back through the field, and then ultimately what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, we're having a decent day with our Great Clips Toyota, and, you know, that restart, I was actually kind of excited because we were going to run 4th, but we were kind of equal with the 21 and the 20, and had a good start, and then next thing I knew, Boyer came across the front of me, which he got help from the 20. He had to have got help. He took off a little bit slow, but not too slow. I was only at about his halfway up of his car, and then 20 had to have turned him, and I don't know why. 20, these guys are fast enough not to have to turn other cars, but that's the way it goes.
You can talk about the strides this Braun team is making with the 4 cars. A small team, considering you've got 4 cars, just about 60 or so guys in the shop, and yet week in, week out, you seem to have good run.
Well, I mean, they have a good group of guys. Stuart Cooper does a real nice job on my car, on the Great Clips car, and they have some good sponsors and things, and they work hard. So it's a good team. The guys work hard. They try hard. It's tough to beat a few of these guys, and we run with them each week. So it's nice. I look forward to Charlotte in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and it helps to have guys like Casey Kane in the seat, too. Dave Burns?
Well, Vince, Kevin Kidd is a crew chief for Denny Hamlin. You've talked, I'm assuming, on the radio, or at least heard Denny's reaction. What do you think happened on the restart there?
Yeah, you know, it really just appears 21 just didn't get a good start. I know Denny didn't intend on doing any of that. Denny's always a clean racer, and he just really doesn't race people that way. So I feel like 21 just didn't get quite a good start. Obviously, you know, Denny went low trying to miss it and just really couldn't do it. So I think that's just racing.
you have any damage on your race car?
No, we're good. We're good to go.
And based on earlier finally getting that spring rubber out of the right rear, do you think you can contend with Kyle?
Yeah, I think we got as good a shot as anybody, and Kyle's definitely been the strongest car all day. We've had to work on ours to get up to be able to run with him. 3-lap shootout, I think anything goes. The thing I hope is that the 18 and the 20 are able to finish the race 1-2. Obviously, I'd like to see the 20 finish 1 and the 18 2, but if it doesn't work out that way, it'll be okay.
What line do you want? We won't tell Kyle.
I think we've been pretty good on the bottom all day. I know Kyle's been happy with the high side, but Denny's been doing good on the bottom.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Marty?
We won't tell him. Oh, yeah, all those TV sets that are tuned in. Let's show you something that's really interesting. We've had 3 prior green-white checkered finishes this season in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Take a look at who the leader was at the end of regulation. Logano, Harvick, Busch. Look who the winners were. Busch, Keselowski. It's not looking good for Kyle Busch.
Yeah, don't show that to Kyle. He doesn't want to see it now.
Well, does history hold true? Remember, Kyle is trying to become only the 5th pole sitter in 53 nationwide races ever held here at Dover to win from the pole. And only once has been done in the spring. Stay with us.
This Monster Mile in Dover, known for mashing up race cars, but twice earlier in this race, we saw guys spin down these narrow straightaways and not hit anything, Brad.
Yeah, with very untypical wrecks. We see Michael Annett spin there, doesn't touch a thing. Then we saw Brad Keselowski have some problems with the right front tire. He thought, look how close he comes to the wall twice. He just barely grazes it, and I tell you, it's been unbelievable, some of these wrecks that haven't happened because of the things. But this one was the big one. Denny Hamlin gets into the rear, Clint Boyer, and a hard lick by Trevor Bayne into Paul Menard, and Chad McCumbee hits. It's just multiple wrecks.
I guess the point here is that's more typical Dover. The first 2 were very atypical, but the Monster Mile just claimed about a half a dozen cars and has put us under the red flag with now a green-white checker finish ahead, and Kyle Busch the leader under the red flag. Let's check in with Vince Welch.
Well, it's hard to put it in perspective, and you got a good day going. 10th place, Paul Menard had a top 10 run going, and then just got caught up in somebody else's mess. Doesn't leave you feeling very good, does it?
It is what it is. I mean, green flag, green white checkered restarts. That's what's going to happen. I'm not sure why the caution came up before that, but it bunched us all up, and we weren't very good on restarts. We were really good, 20, 30 laps in a run, but we knew we knew we'd have our hands full for the last 10 laps. Busch and the guys built a good race car. It was, like I said, it's fast in the long runs, and the Richmond Ford was it was a good car. Now it's all tore all to hell. So it's frustrating, but we had a fast car.
Thanks. They fired them up, Marty.
Yes, they have. And the 5 cars involved: Boyer, Menard, Bayne, McCumbee, and Casey Kane. And the red flag has been withdrawn. We're back under caution. Let's talk to our in-race reporter.
Hey, Jamie, Dale Jarrett, the ESPN. You got us?
5 clear.
Hey, buddy, it hadn't been the most effective thing all day, but you got yourself up in a position now to do something special here at the end.
Yeah, we just were really tight all day, but the guys did a really good job adjusting on it, and actually we're a little bit loose here. The restarts are really tough. There's so much rubber buildup that the outside lane's probably going to struggle a little here. So we'll see what we can do, though. We had really good runs in this car, and going to have to try to put it together here at the end.
All right, good luck at the end, buddy.
10-4, thanks.
I knew they'd find their way up there in the top 5 before the race is over. I just didn't know how they were going to do it.
And we are being told that the 21 will be held for an extra lap as they started work too soon.
They got bigger problems.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to matter one iota as far as the finishing result for that team. Let's get more from pit road. Dave Burns.
Well, Ryan Newman's having a strong day today. His first run this season with the James Finch-owned team, the second one ever, and Nick Harrison's crew chief on this car today. Nick, what's he been lacking out there? I know you guys were talking about, hey, next time we'll get you this and maybe do better, but what's he been lacking?
We were just a little free in early in the run and bottoming out some, but we've bumped our pressures up and snugged him up throughout the race, and he seems to be fine with it. Those 2 guys out front are really, really fast, but we just hope for a good, clean restart, maybe a 3rd place finish, or if them guys get roughing up, maybe we can have, capitalize on somebody's mistake. But good, solid run for all of our guys. Everybody's worked hard, and Ryan's did awesome.
It's been a great day for him so far. Marty?
Well, the best finish for the 1 car with James Buescher at the wheel. The rookie finished 8th back at Daytona at the season opener. Right now, Ryan Newman He's going to be in that first 2 rows. Great run for Reed Sorensen in the 32, as he also is going to be in row number 2 as we'll get ready for this restart, another lap or so. And we can tell you the 34 of Tony Raines is going to get the lucky dog. That will give us 22 cars back on the lead lap.
Yeah, Trent Owens with that 32 car, they've done a great job all day to keep that car in contention and to keep adjusting on it. You see some more damage now on the 21.
Well, we're getting
oh my goodness gracious alive.
Denny Hamlin, and I think there's some retaliation going on here because we've just gotten word from NASCAR, the 21 who had pulled back out on.
I want you to take it to the trailer.
And he has been told to take it to the trailer. So Clint Boyer retaliates against Denny Hamlin. Let's go back and see if we can see what happens here. There's Hamlin. Here comes Boyer.
Yeah, he's coming out of the pits from where they were working on the car. Makes a hard right here.
Huh.
Show his displeasure with what happened on that last
restart. He saw it
as
intentional.
I don't know that he saw it as much intentional, but something that could have been avoided. You know, that wasn't something that had to happen on that restart.
So as you see the damage now on Denny's car as the left front corner is pulled out. They have called off the green flag.
So it looks like Denny's going to go back up to his spot. I'm not sure about how much this damage is going to affect the car, though, on this start.
Well, and Clint has been ordered, along with his crew chief, to report to the hauler. And according to NASCAR and the rule book, the 20 will not get his start back, his position back on the restart. So we'll have to wait and see where NASCAR places the 20 of Denny Hamlin. But Clint's been called to the principal's office along with crew chief Dan Deeringhoff. And there's a better view of the damage on the 20. All right, let me ask you guys this. Should he have retaliated? I mean, Denny was involved in 2 spins today where he got into people. Now, whether or not deliberately or not, that's always the conjecture that we have.
I never like seeing guys take race cars and pay each other back because we're the ones that always have to fix them. But in that case, he felt like he was wronged in some way, and he wanted to kind of make even the score.
Okay, yeah, it felt like he was wrong, but and then you see that guy's going to sit up there starting on the front row with a chance to win the race.
You want to make sure he didn't have that.
That didn't happen. So. Yeah, racetrack, it's a tough call. And I know NASCAR, there'll probably be a fine involved along the way here for Clint, but sometimes you just feel like you have to take things in your own hands and show the guys your displeasure.
Well, the one winner in this thing is going to be Reed Sorensen. He's going to move up to the front row now on this start. He's going to have a shot at Kyle Busch.
Well, Boyer's last of his 8 Nationwide Series wins was right here last September. He won't be around for the finish on this one.
Now, but I have to say, as if Kyle needed any help in trying to win this race,
he just got
some right there. He's certainly going to make his job somewhat easier here. But he still has to be able to get up to speed, make sure he's got his tires cleaned off. You heard these guys talking about a lot of rubber on the racetrack out there.
All right, let's set this up. We're going to have a green-white checker. We've already talked about the fact the 3 prior, the guy leading at the end of regulation has not been the winner. The guy leading at the end of regulation is Kyle Busch. He led yesterday in the truck race, did not win that race. He has led 188 laps.
And don't forget, NASCAR will try up to 3 attempts at a green-white checker if we don't get it done here.
Here it is. It's Busch, Sorensen on the front row, Newman, McMurray in row 2, Harvick, Leffler, Keselowski, and Biffle. That's your top 8 as they come out of turn number 4. Green-white checker attempt number 1, and boy, he's got the hammer down again. This time much cleaner. And right now,
look at Sorensen getting a little bit loose there, but staying right there underneath McMurray. McMurray gets him clear off 2.
Well, what a great job by Jamie McMurray today with that race car. He's driven up through the pack. See Ryan Newman trying to take the 3rd spot now.
He's going on the high side. Kyle has checked out. White flag this time by.
White flag.
So all he's got to do is get it around. Meanwhile, Jamie McMurray, boy, what a struggle this team has had. He's hanging on for 2nd. Here comes Newman.
Man, look at Newman get this big run off the top.
We saw him earlier running up there. Here goes Kyle Busch, as it looks like he will not be denied today. The monster has been eaten by the 18.
Newman on the outside.
He's looking at the battle for 2nd. It is going to be Newman, and we've got a crash into the wall. Michael Annette crosses the line while scraping the concrete. He looks to be okay, but it's Busch, Newman, McMurray third, Sorensen fourth, Leffler fifth. Harvick, Keselowski comes back to finish in seventh. Biffle, Scott, and Colin Brown gets a top 10.
How about that? Now, that was a good finish.
Jamie, let's talk to Jason Radcliffe.
Well, he's pretty happy. He says, great job, man. Jason, green, white checker, you've seen him go very wrong, and you guys have been on that receiving end. What was that like?
Well, I think it was about 365 days ago we saw that, and we didn't make it through this corner. But great job today by all these guys, everybody on pit road. Our combos, Toyota was great. Kyle did a great job, and we're just really thankful, really blessed. God's blessed us with great people, great race cars, and Toyota, and everybody. And we're just going to keep riding this thing as long as I can.
Great job. Congratulations. Fourth win for this team. Marty?
And his 34th in his Nationwide Series career. Second win at Dover in his 12th start. And I can't even see the car because it's in nothing but smoke.
He's got pretty good at these, hasn't he?
Well, he's had a few practices at it. And he's the first time to win here in 4 green-white checkers, where the leader at the end of regulation goes on to win the event. And to think, it was 28 years ago today, Joe Ruttman got his first Nationwide Series victory right here at Dover. That was back in 1982. And now Kyle Busch becomes our 8th different winner in 8 straight years on the spring race. It'll be the 4th win on concrete for Kyle Busch. That'll tie him with Clint Boyer for 3rd. Michael Annett sticking his face into Justin Allgaier's window, obviously having a conversation. And we got Kevin Harvick having a conversation as well. Looks like Brian Scott. Let's talk to the man who finished in 2nd place, David.
I don't know either. All I know is I had a note here that said, you called the crew saying, I can't push the car. What happened at the end there? They made some adjustments.
We didn't get the car better. I was just too free for too long there, and I just couldn't push the car. I mean, you have to almost like abuse the race car here. That's why this racetrack is so much fun. I have to thank James Finch and everybody at Phoenix Racing for the opportunity to put pit road pets on the hood, and it wasn't the greatest finish for us, but we'll take it 2nd place. We didn't deserve it, is all I'm saying. We were probably about a 4th or 5th place car, but 2nd was a good run for us.
He may ring you up a little later in the year here. Are you okay for another run in the 1 car?
Yeah, I told him I'll think about it.
All right, Ryan Newman finishing a strong 2nd today.
Yeah, great run for Ryan and the team. And there is Denny Hamlin climbing out of his car, and Hamlin ends up finishing in the 12th position. While we've got a moment waiting for Victory Lane, let's talk about the ticket to race, because you can get yours at NASCAR.com/tickets. Our next stop in 2 weeks at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Then on to Nashville, Kentucky, Road America, on down through the month of July, where we will be in Iowa. Boy, the crowd will be out there. Last year, jam-packed. They put in extra grandstands. You want to be there for that one. So now you've got the ticket to the race. Let's check in once again and talk to 3rd place, Jamie McMurray. Dave Burns.
Another top 5 for the 88 team and Jamie McMurray. And this one wasn't easy all weekend, was it?
No, we didn't. We really struggled to get the car off the racetrack all of practice. Well, you guys followed us the whole time, so you know. And then in qualifying, the car was just too loose, but we adjusted on it in the race, and they got it a lot better. I don't think we were a top 3 car by any means, but we probably had a 6th to 8th place car, and track position here is just really important. So we've been really lucky in this car, though. Everything has just kind of went our way, and I've been involved in racing a long time, and I've had things all go the opposite way. So you certainly have to enjoy this, but it was really cool to have Connects on the car this weekend, and that means a lot to my foundation with those toys being really popular in the autism community. So it was a cool run.
They call that car the moneymaker, $100,000 to the charities from Connects, and a nice payday from McMurray and the 88 team.
Jamie
Marty
has top 5 finishes in his last 3 races, the longest current streak going in the Nationwide Series this year. Time now for our Hellman's Victory Circle. Let's talk to our winner, Jamie.
And the celebrating continues for Kyle Busch for the 4th time in 2010 in the Nationwide Series. And we talked to Jason Radcliffe, his crew chief, and he reminded us it was 1 year ago, Kyle, you dominated this race, but you were on the receiving end of that green-white checker. How good does it feel to get back here?
Feels good. You know, we've been fast here a lot at Dover. You know, we've had great race cars, and
can't thank these guys enough. This Joe Gibbs Racing team was awesome. You know, Combos, Toyota, Z-Line, of course, you know, Marquis Jet, Gillette, Nationwide, and the fans, you know, for everything that they've got going on. And one of my guys, Heluva Good, you know, they're here this weekend, so it's cool to have them. And finally, I don't know if we broke the monkey or what, but they've been hanging out in my pit box at Daytona, then yesterday, and we've been kind of snake bit, but you know, today was a good day for us, and real good race car, and real proud of these guys. The way we were just, you know, we were good all day. You know, we came off pit road real strong and everything, and we just held our own.
Kyle, you were checking out, and then at the end of the race, you called it on the radio. You said, yep, caution. It comes out, and then they go green again, and then the big pileup. You guys have to stop. What does that do for your concentration and your momentum?
Not much. I mean, you just try to think through things that are going to happen on the restart. You know, I was planning on Denny being on my inside for the restart and figuring, well, I need to go to the outside and just make sure I get a big run through 1 and 2 on the outside and try to clear him down the back. But, you know, that didn't happen. I had to 32, and I got him done getting to turn 1. So, you know, you just think through all the different scenarios that can happen and try to plan out the best you can. It never always goes to plan, but you can try.
Sometimes you can overthink, but congratulations, Kyle Busch in victory lane, second time at Dover. Vince?
With Denny Hamlin and, well, on that restart, Denny, what happened there between you and Clint?
I just clipped him on the way by. I mean, it was nothing intentional, obviously, but he, you know, he spun his tires, and you know, I was trying to go, and I just misjudged it barely. I just, you know, I did it earlier with the 15 car, just barely misjudged it, and I just don't run. It's hard to blame it on, you know, not running these cars a lot, but I just didn't know, you know, how close I was, and barely clipped him and sent him up, and you know, it ruined his day, and you know, obviously it ruined ours too. So an eye for an eye.
What was your reaction to him coming back on the track and getting into you?
Well, I'm sure he was frustrated, and I'm, you know, I don't fault him. I'd be frustrated too. So it's hard for me to say that. It's hard for me to say he was in the wrong. You know, it ruined his day, and you know, he got our day. So you know, I try not to take these, you know, races too seriously and get too worked up about them. Obviously, our focus is for tomorrow's races, but you know, it's just we're going to move on, and we'll race each other clean from here on out.
Thanks, Denny. Marty?
All right, great stuff, guys, and we get everybody's side on that, except for Clint Boyer. He's already in the trailer. Let's talk about tomorrow on the Extreme Makeover season finale. The hit movie The Blind Side inspired millions. Now the real-life Tui family will help a beloved coach in one incredible way. ABC's Extreme Makeover Home Edition season finale tomorrow at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on ABC. And let's check in quickly back down on pit road here from the Braun Racing team. Dave?
A couple of teammates that had a great day today, and I don't think there's a stat in the book for 4th place finishing Reed Sorensen, whose team uttered, if we finish in the top 5 today, it'll be the best finish we've ever had with such a bad race car. What the heck?
Well, I'll tell you what, we thought the Dollar General car was pretty good in practice, and we obviously got it way too loose because we bottomed out the track bar today. We did all kinds of stuff with air pressure, and at the end of the race, you know, in that restart, I wish I was on the outside because when we were so loose, and I knew McMurray was going to be right there on my right rear, and you know, I held it wide open through 1 and 2 and got halfway through, and I had to lift her. It was either that or wreck. So the Dollar General guys did great today, and I am thankful for that 4th place finish. But we expect a little more out of the car today. But we do come back here again, and we learned what we need to do and what we don't need to do. So just a great day, and we'll take that finish and go on to next week.
Some valuable notes for them. As for 5th place, Jason Leffler, that's 2 in a row. Something tells me you're not letting Trip Bruce, interim crew chief, out of your sight, are you?
He did a great job. All the guys did a great job on the number 10 ABF Camry. We were going to finish 10th, and it would have been a hard-fought 10th with Menard there, and with all that carnage, we ended up 5th. So it's kind of nice to have stuff come our way for once and benefit from that. So I got to thank all the guys, got to thank the whole team back at the shop. Thank all the fans for coming out, Nationwide Insurance, and I want to say hi to Charlie back home, and I miss you, bud.
Braun Racing filling up the top 5 with Leffler and Sorensen. Marty?
Yeah, quick update. Michael Annette is going to be taken for some further evaluation as far as the medical. So quickly, final thoughts, guys?
Well, it took all day for this monster to show its true colors, but it was a very exciting finish and typical Dover.
Yeah, and the fastest car won the race with Kyle Busch, but Brad Keselowski did a nice job of making a comeback with whatever happened with that to finish 7th today and keep his points lead.
Well, Joe Gibbs Racing led all but 3 laps today. Let's send it on down to Allen to close it out.
All right, Marty, DJ, and Andy, thanks. Kyle Busch has led 89% of the laps in 2 days' worth of racing here at Dover. He starts 4th in the Sprint Cup Series race tomorrow.
He's incredible. One of these days, or one of these seasons, he's going to win every race on the schedule because he always is up around the start.
After a weekend off next weekend, the Nationwide Series is in action on the Fast Mile and a Half in Charlotte. That's Saturday, May 29th, 2 Eastern on ABC. Hope you'll join us for that. And don't forget, tomorrow it's NBA playoff action starting at 3 Eastern with GMC Sierra NBA Countdown, the Celtics and Magic, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. AT&T ESPN Sports Saturday is next. Kyle Busch is your winner at the Monster Mile on this day. Thanks for watching our NASCAR coverage on ABC.
Hold on to it.